Chapter 220. After staying in the inn for a night, they changed to an inn not far from the Sima family. From the room they chose, they could directly see the mansion of the Sima family. Sima Yoyue's inn was on the 4th floor. She stood in front of the window and looked at the Sima family from afar. Compared to the current Sima residence, the Dongchen Kingdom's general's residence was not even as big as one of their courtyards. The tall courtyard wall stretched out. She couldn't see the end of the wall from upstairs, which showed how big it was. No wonder Bei Gong Tang and the others said that it was comparable to a small city. The width of the mansion was also incomparable to that of an ordinary mansion. She estimated that the mansion was several thousand meters wide, stretching all the way to the foot of the mountain. The mountain range behind the mansion was also considered to be the territory of the family. It was said that the experts of the Sima family usually didn't live below, but cultivated in the mountains. Usually, they wouldn't come out unless something happened. I wonder where Grandpa and the rest are. Sima Yuyue muttered as she looked at the huge courtyard. Bei Gong Tang saw that Sima Yuyue was staring at the Sima family in a daze and went forward to comfort her. Don't worry, your grandfather and the others will definitely be fine. Yes. In the next 2 months, Sima Yuyue and the rest would occasionally go out for a walk. The rest of the time, they would cultivate in their own rooms. With the spirit pagoda actively absorbing spiritual energy and the advantage of 1 day being equivalent to 3 days, she advanced another level after 2 months and successfully became a level 3 spiritual grandmaster. She usually spent a lot of time and energy on alchemy, refining souls, and learning array formations. Otherwise, her current strength would be even more powerful. After the advancement, she felt that the power in her body had become much stronger. Her hard work in cultivating for so long had not been in vain. I've been in seclusion for so long, it's time to go out and take a look. Sima Yuyue got off the bed and opened the door. Not bad, you've advanced in rank again. Wei Ziqi and the others were waiting outside her room to protect her from being interrupted. Evildoer. Fatty Chu said. Didn't the rest of you advance as well? Sima Yuyue glanced at them. Everyone had advanced in the past few days. How long have I been in seclusion? More than a month. Right now, there are only 10 days left until the deadline of 3 years. Wei Ziqi replied. 10 days. Sima Yuyue murmured. He didn't expect that he had already been in Anyang City for 2 months. Time was truly endless. That's right, when we went out that day, we saw that lady from before. Fatty Chu said. Sima Yuqin? No, it's Sima Yulan. Bei Gong Tang said, 3 years ago, we saw her in the sect. 2 days ago, when we went out, we saw her beast carriage in front of the Sima family's gate. The guard called her Miss Yulan. Sima Yuyue also had an impression of this girl who was about the same age as her. Crossing the Sophia mountain range was a dangerous task. At that time, other than Sima Kai who was a spiritual grandmaster, she was a spiritual king, and the other 3 were spiritual emperors. They were willing to take her there, but it was definitely not for her to catch people or broaden her horizons. Thinking back to when Sima Lin had listened to her and said that she couldn't sense the exact location of the golden snake fruit, he gave up looking for it. Could it be that she could sense the location of the heavenly treasure? Since Yu has come out of seclusion, let's go find a restaurant to celebrate. Fatty Chu suggested. Sure. Wei Ziqi said, we've all advanced in rank recently. It's indeed something worth celebrating. The Drunken Moon restaurant nearby has pretty good food and wine. Let's go there to eat. Fatty Chu had already eaten at all the restaurants nearby, so he naturally knew which restaurant was better. Alright, let's call Chongming along. We'll go together. Sima Yuyue said. Chongming left 2 days ago. He said that he would be gone for a few days. He'll definitely be back in 10 days. Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yuyue was stunned. She didn't think that Chongming would leave. She didn't know what he had to do. Then we'll go by ourselves. She said. Today is the day that Yu will advance in rank. We definitely have to let her bleed properly. Fatty Chu was in high spirits. Alright, I'll treat you guys to a big meal today. Sima Yuyue said with a smile. Alright, Big Brother will treat us to a big meal today. Little Two shouted happily. The few of them then left the inn. Because it was still early, they strolled leisurely towards the restaurant and strolled around the streets. When they passed by a small street, they realized that there were quite a few people walking towards it. This alley is quite lively, Sima Yuyue said. Of course, at the end of this street is the Xian Yuan Pavilion. Fatty Chu said. Ugly person's Xian Yuan Pavilion? Yes. The signboards are all the same. Fatty Chu said, it's still early and they haven't opened yet. We can go take a look after we finish eating. Alright. Let's see what's the difference between this piece cities. In the afternoon, they arrived at the Drunken Moon restaurant. Although the people who cultivated here didn't have much desire for things, the Drunken Moon restaurant was still packed with people. Why are there so many people? Sima Yuyue asked as she looked at the restaurant full of diners. Because the food here is delicious, Fatty Chu said as he walked in. A waiter came up to him. Waiter, are there any more private rooms? Oh dear, I'm sorry, our private rooms are all full. The waiter said apologetically. There are no more private rooms? That's right, the private rooms have all been booked. There are only 1 or 2 empty tables left in the main hall. The waiter said as he pointed to the 2 tables at the side. The previous 2 times, we came at night. I didn't think that there would be so many people in the afternoon. If I knew earlier, would have walked faster. Fatty Chu said. The main hall then. Sima Yuyue said, since we're already here, let's just put up with it. In any case, it's just a meal. Alright. Guests, this way please. The waiter waved to everyone. Since there are no more private rooms, why don't you join us? Sima Yuyang's voice came from the door. Sima Yuyue and the others looked back and saw Sima Yuyang, Sima Yuqing and 4 or 5 other people walking in together. Big brother Yuyang, big sister Yuqing. Little Two saw Sima Yuyang and smiled as he greeted them. You're here for a meal too? Sima Yuyue saw Little Two's appearance and felt that he was much closer to the 2 of them. It seemed like they had met a few times already. That's right. We have a few friends who came and invited them here for a meal. Sima Yuyang said, we didn't see little brother Shiman the previous 2 times. They said that you were in closed-door cultivation. I just came out today. Sima Yuyue said. Since there are no more private rooms, you can join us for a meal. Brother Zi Yan wouldn't mind, right? Sima Yuyang said. Hua Zi Yan held a fan in his hand, saying, since they are your friends, there's naturally no problem. Sima Yuyue didn't want to get too close to the Sima family and wanted to decline, but Fatty Chu had already agreed on her behalf. Thank you so much, Yuyang. Sima Yuyue raised her eyebrows and directly called him by his name. When did their relationship become so good? Chapter 221. Since Fatty Chu had already agreed, Sima Yuyue didn't say anything else and followed them upstairs. The waiter brought them to a private room. The private room was very big and could seat at least 20 people. Sit. Sima Yuyang gestured for everyone to sit down, then introduced them to each other. This is Hua Ziyan from the Hua clan, and this is his younger sister, Hua Zijiao. These 2 are my younger cousins, Sima Yuze and Sima Yue. These people were Shiman Yu, Wei Ziqi, Ouyang Fei, Fatty, Bei Gong Tang, and this little doll was Tuesday. Where's brother Chongming? He has something to do and will be away for a few days. Sima Yuyue nodded at them and replied. Hua Ziyan replied indifferently, while the others ignored her. Hua Zijiao pouted unhappily, saying, Big brother Yuyang, why did you invite just anyone? This makes the private room look small. When he said this, the atmosphere in the room suddenly became a little strange. Sima Yuyue didn't really want to be with them. When she heard this, she felt even more uncomfortable. She stood up and said, I think we should go outside. Thank you for your kind intentions, young Master Sima. Hey, don't. You're already here, why are you leaving? Sima Yuqing stopped her and said. Hua Ziyan glared at Hua Zijiao, then cupped his hands towards Sima Yuyue and said, Little sister is used to being arrogant and willful, I hope young Master Shiman doesn't mind if she offends you. Seeing that he had already said this, Sima Yu couldn't say anything more and sat down again. Hua Ziyan, why do I feel that this name sounds so familiar? Fatty Chu said. You don't even know my brother, what a country bumpkin. Hua Zijiao looked at Fatty Chu with disdain. Hua Ziyan is the genius of the Hua clan who is as famous as Big Brother Yulin. He's one of the 4 great evildoers. Sima Yuqing said. Right, I remember now. We've heard someone mention it before. Fatty Chu said with a sudden realization, completely ignoring Hua Zijiao's words. Sima Yue and Sima Yuze liked Hua Zijiao a lot. Now that they saw that she didn't like Sima Yu and the others, they naturally didn't like them either. Sima Yue opened his mouth and asked, even the Hua clan's geniuses aren't enough. Where did you all come from? How did you get to know my brothers? His words were full of disdain, and he was sure that they came from a small place. We came from another country. Wei Ziqi said, we met Brother Yu Yang at the transportation array in Linchuan City. So that's how it is. I was wondering how you could possibly know someone from the Sima family. Hua Zijiao said. These few people kept saying things to annoy Sima Yu and the others. Everyone was a little angry, but on account of Sima Yuqing and Sima Yu Yang, it was not good for them to flare up. Little Tu sat between Sima Yuyue and Bei Gong Tang. He stretched out his hand and patted Yoyue's shoulder, saying, Big brother, don't be angry. You said that the dog bit you, but you can't bite the dog back. PFFF, when they heard what Little Tu said, everyone laughed. Wasn't he calling them dogs? Little brat, what do you mean? Hua Zijiao slammed the table and shouted at Little Tuesday. Little Tu was not afraid of her. He glanced at her and said, I didn't say anything about you. Why are you so angry? Could it be that big sister thinks you're like this? Little brat, today I represent your parents to teach you a lesson. Sima Yuyue was beside Sima Yuze. He went around Sima Yuyue and wanted to hit Little Tu, but his hand was clawed by Sima Yuyue. Does my little brother need an outsider like you to teach him a lesson? After speaking, she pulled forcefully and Sima Yuze was pulled from his seat to the ground. Yuze, how can you hit Little Tu? Sima Yuqing stood up and berated. Sima Yuze crawled up from the ground and glared fiercely at Sima Yuyue, saying, You actually dare to hit me? You, a country bumpkin from who knows where, actually dared to hit me. Do you know what kind of people the Sima family is? Sima Yuyue glanced at him indifferently, then said to Sima Yu Yang, Looks like not everyone in the Sima family is like you. Let's go outside to eat. Goodbye. After speaking, without waiting for their reply, they all stood up and left. You want to leave after hitting me? Sima Yuze grabbed at them, but was caught by Ouyang Fei. Ouyang Fei used force and he cried out in pain. Ouyang Fei didn't say anything, but his eyes were filled with murderous intent. He let him go and followed them out. Enough. Sima Yu Yang saw that Sima Yuze still wanted to go out and shouted loudly, They are my friends, what are you doing? Sima Yuze held his arm unwillingly. I'll go eat with them. Sima Yuqing left the private room after speaking and saw Sima Yu Yang and the others downstairs. She walked down and sat beside their table. It was really a contrast just now. Yuze and the others are used to being domineering. Sima Yu Yang and the others didn't think that Sima Yuqing would specially come down to apologize, and their displeasure towards the Sima family lessened a little. Yuqing, why are you with that guy? Fatty Chu was straightforward and asked directly. I don't like them either. Sima Yuqing said, but the Hua family has guests, so they naturally have to receive them. Yu Yang and I were supposed to accompany them around, but those two guys like Hua Zijiao and insisted on following. You're all family, why are your characters so different? They're from third uncle's branch. That branch's people are all like this. I've always quarreled with them. Sima Yuqing complained. Sima Yoyue's heart suddenly jumped and asked, I've heard of Sima Kai and Sima Ke before. Which branch are they from? Third uncle and the others are third uncle's children. Sima Yuqing said, however, third uncle died 3 years ago when he came back. No wonder their characters were so bad. Sima Yuyue and the others ordered the dishes. When she saw the menu, she finally understood why Fatty Chu wanted her to treat them. This meal cost over 1,000 gold coins. However, after they finished eating, Sima Yuqing insisted on footing the bill, saying that it was to apologize for what happened just now. They couldn't win against her, so they let her be. Yu, what do you want to do in the afternoon? Sima Yuqing asked after they left the Drunken Moon restaurant. We want to go to the Xian Yuan Pavilion to take a look. Wei Ziqi said. I haven't been there in a long time. Let's go together. Sima Yuqing said. The few of them went to the Xian Yuan Pavilion, and it was already open. The shopkeeper saw Sima Yuqing and greeted her warmly. Young Miss Yuqing, you're here. Did you get anything good recently? Sima Yuqing asked. Yes, we definitely have something that young Miss Yuqing likes. The shopkeeper said. Yu, do you want to come with me to take a look? Sima Yuqing asked. No, we want to walk around. Sima Yuyue said. That's good. If you see that I haven't come out, just wait for me. Okay. Chapter 222. That shop assistant took Sima Yuqing and left. Immediately, another shop assistant came up and asked, Is there anything you need help with? No need, we'll just look around ourselves. Okay, call us if you need anything. After saying that, the shop assistant politely retreated to the side. There are indeed more and better things here than in Peace City. Fatty Chu said with a smile as he looked at the dazzling array of items. See if there's anything you like, Sima Yuyue said. All right. Everyone went their separate ways to find what they wanted. Not long after, Sima Yuyang and the others came in as well. When they saw Fatty Chu and the others wandering around in front of the items, Sima Yuze, Huazi Jiao and the others' expressions turned ugly. Sima Yuyang nodded at Wei Ziqi and the others as he brought Huazi Yan upstairs. It seemed like he had something to buy as well. Huazi Jiao and the rest didn't go up. When they saw Sima Yuyue and the others, they didn't want to go up. Country bumpkins, do you have the money to buy things here? Huazi Jiao walked over and looked at them with disdain as they wandered around the cheap area. What does it have to do with you whether I have money or not? Fatty Chu sneered, don't tell me that you, the young miss of the Hua family, are in charge of this place? Humph, I'm just reminding you. Don't choose something and then be unable to pay for it. You'll lose face for no reason. Huazi Jiao sneered, waiting to see them make a fool of themselves. At this time, Bei Gong Tang waved her hand at the shop assistant, saying, Do you accept pills here? Yes. Miss, do you want to sell medicinal pills? The shop assistant asked. This Miss Hua reminded me just now. If I don't have money, I'll embarrass myself for nothing. Let's exchange it for some money first. Bei Gong Tang said. Sima Yuyue and the others saw Bei Gong Tang's actions and knew that this young miss was angry. They were waiting to see how she would deal with Huazi Jiao. Then let's go upstairs. Please follow me, miss, said the clerk. All right. Bei Gong Tang nodded, but did not leave. Don't, we haven't seen how other people sell pills. Sima Yue said. That's right. If you only have 1 or 2 pills, why would you need to make the trip? Sima Yuze agreed. Bei Gong, why don't you just stay here? We're too lazy to go upstairs. Fatty Chu said, otherwise, people will really think that you're going through so much trouble just for 1 or 2 pills. Since your own people have already said so, why are you still going up? They were certain that Bei Gong Tang and the others had come from a small place and would only have a few pills on them. Therefore, they wanted them to embarrass themselves below. Bei Gong Tang glanced at the three of them and said to the shop assistant, "Since everyone wants to take a look, let's trade here." The shop assistant had no objections and said, "Miss, our first grade pills are 30 gold coins each, second grade pills are 60 gold coins each, third grade pills are 100 gold coins each, and fourth grade pills are 300 gold coins each. If it's a special pill, the price will not be limited by its grade." Bei Gong Tang nodded. The price was still reasonable. It was not too much of a scam. After that, the shop assistant brought her to the counter at the side, wanting her to place the pills on it. Bei Gong Tang shook her head, saying, "There's not enough space here." Her voice was very soft, but it caused everyone's hearts to tremble. This kind of counter was actually not enough? Didn't she only have 2 or 3 pills? The shop assistant was stunned and turned around to instruct the servant girl at the side. "Pfft, how could you have so many pills? Could it be that you're an alchemist?" "I've never heard of a country bumpkin alchemist before," Sima Yuze said. "What does it have to do with you whether I am or not? Do you have nothing better to do than to meddle in the affairs of the world?" Bei Gong Tang retorted unceremoniously. "You!" Sima Yuze was so angry that he stomped his foot and pointed at Bei Gong Tang, his eyes filled with hatred. "What, did I say something wrong?" Bei Gong Tang laughed coldly. "Whether or not I'm an alchemist has nothing to do with you. What are you chirping for?" Sima Yuqin, Sima Yuyang and Hua Ziyen came down from above and saw that the few of them were at daggers drawn. They asked, "What's wrong?" "Nothing much. Young Miss Hua said that we don't have any money to spend here. Bei Gong wants to sell some pills to get some money so that young Miss Hua won't laugh at us if we really don't have any money," Sima Yu said lightly. Hua Ziyen, Sima Yuyang and the others were all shrewd people. When they heard Sima Yu's words, they roughly understood what had happened. It was definitely Hua Zijiao and Sima Yuze who had come to provoke Sima Yu and the others. At this time, a servant girl came over and came to the counter. With a wave of her hand, a table that was 1 meter long and 2 meters wide appeared. The shop assistant who received them said, "Young miss, the table has already been prepared. Please take out your pills." Bei Gong Tang walked over and with a wave of her hand, thousands of pill bottles appeared on the table, shocking everyone present. Sima Yuze and the others had just said that she only had 1 or 2 pills. This was a ruthless slap to their faces, and it was the kind of slap that resounded loudly. The shop assistant was also stunned for a moment before saying, "Young miss, there are so many pills. We need to count them." "Okay." Bei Gong Tang did not say anything as she took out a chair and sat down. The shop assistant hurriedly waved his hand and called a few people over to count the pills. "Young miss, there are a total of 1,100 first-ranked pills, 800 second-ranked pills, 600 third-ranked pills and 200 fourth-ranked pills." The shop assistant kept the pills on the table and reported the total number to them. When they heard this number, everyone present sucked in a breath. Even the average disciple of a clan would not have so many pills, right? Apart from an alchemist, who else would have so many pills on them? Sima Yuyang looked at Bei Gong Tang speechlessly. As a direct descendant of the Sima clan, he only had 100 pills on him. However, this person alone had so many. This alchemist was really good. "Why don't you sell my pills as well? They take up space in my ring." Ouyang Fei walked over and with a wave of his hand, the table was once again filled with jade bottles. This time, everyone was stunned. Even Ouyang Fei was an alchemist. They had previously said that he was poor, but now they knew that he was definitely richer than them. Although Sima Yuze and the other two were shocked by Bei Gong Tang's pills, they did not care too much. She was just an alchemist. Their clan had quite a few alchemists as well. However, they did not expect that there would be 2 alchemists at once. Furthermore, they were 4th-ranked alchemists. The most important thing was that Yu and the others looked even younger than them. In the future, what level would their alchemy skills reach? The shop assistant began to count the second batch of pills. After a long while, he finished counting. The number was a few hundred more than Bei Gong Tang's. Aya, you're all selling things. I'll also clear out my interspatial ring. Fatty Chu stepped forward, saying, do you accept spirit tools here? The shop assistant nodded, saying, we do. Alright, then I'll exchange some money to buy things. Otherwise, I won't have enough money later. After Fatty Chu finished speaking, he came to the side of the table. With a wave of his hand, over 100 spirit tools appeared on the table. Because there was not enough space, many of them were directly placed on the ground. Chapter 223. Weapon Refiner. Someone exclaimed. The customers in the shop had long been paying attention to the situation here. Ever since Bei Gong Tang wanted to sell her pills, they had all gathered around. Encountering 2 fourth-grade alchemists had already surprised them, and now there was even a blacksmith. Would such a team be poor? Obviously, that was impossible. They were selling pills and spirit tools in front of everyone. Wasn't it just to slap Sima Yuze and the other two's faces? The entire hall was completely silent. Only the sound of the 2 people counting the spiritual artifacts could be heard. Little Two leaned against Bei Gong Tang and said to Wei Ziqi, Big brother Ziqi, you don't have any pills or spirit weapons to sell. When everyone heard Little Two speak, their hearts were in their throats. After hearing his words, their hearts that had just been in suspense fell back down. If another alchemist or weapon refiner came, their team would be too scary. Little Two paused for a moment before continuing. Why don't you ask the big brother here to find a few freshly caught holy beasts for you to tame, and you can use them to exchange for some money. Otherwise, you won't have money to pay for the things you buy later. Beast Tamer Master. The few of them understood Little Two's words and looked at Wei Ziqi in shock. Little Two once again mentioned that he had no money to pay the bill. This caused everyone to laugh. This would allow Sima Yuze and the others to not appear in Anyang City for a few days. It was too embarrassing. Wei Ziqi smiled and said, no need, I don't have anything I want to buy. His answer indirectly admitted that he was a beast tamer. Sima Yuyue laughed in her heart when she heard Little Two's words. She did not expect this little guy to have such a trick up his sleeve. Why hadn't she realized that he had such a black-bellied side to him before? Everyone sucked in a deep breath. 2 alchemists, 1 weapon refiner, and 1 beast tamer. This kind of lineup would be honored guests no matter where they went. Moreover, these people were so young. They looked like they were in their 20s. Were they really from the countryside? Even a first-rate power wouldn't be able to nurture so many geniuses. Sima Yuyang and Sima Yuqing were both shocked. They had always looked at the few of them indifferently, but they never thought that they would actually have skills. Hua Ziyan also looked at them a few times, but his gaze finally landed on Sima Yuyang, wanting to see what kind of skills she had. However, what disappointed him was that after Fatty Chu, Sima Yuyue did not sell any pills or spiritual weapons. She only said to the few of them, while they're settling your accounts, go and bring all the items you've chosen. It's time to settle the accounts. Little Two, didn't you see a stone just now? Go and get it. We'll buy it and play with it as a toy. All right. Little Two saw Sima Yuyue winking at him and understood. He immediately ran out, took a stone, placed it on the counter, and ran out again. That's pure gold Oregon. I saw it just now. It's worth 10,000 gold coins. Someone cried out in surprise. Not long after, Little Two brought 2 more medicinal herbs over and said, Sister, I've brought you the things you wanted earlier. With that, he ran off again. Both of the medicinal herbs were rare treasures. 1 stalk was priced at 10,000, while 2 stalks were priced at 20,000. It's almost as good as the treasure of this shop. After that, Little Two went to carry a few more items that everyone had their eyes on. When he took down the last item, he said to the shop assistant, Brother, there's nothing else. That's all. When everyone saw these items, they sucked in a breath. These things added up to 100,000 gold coins. The shop assistant was rather calm. After calculating, he said, the items here add up to 100,800 gold coins. Forget about the 800. You can just give me 100,000. Do you want to split it? No need. Sima Yuyue said, although I'm not rich, I still have this bit of money. You should have said earlier that you wanted to give it to us. You made me worry that I didn't have enough money and had to sell pills to make up for it. Bei Gong Tang said unhappily, you can give us the money from selling pills and spiritual weapons. Put these things on her head. All right. The shop assistant nodded. He got someone to bring a box and put everything in. Sima Yuyue walked over and took out a crystal card and a blue card, handing it over to the shop assistant. Seeing the blue card in Sima Yuyue's hand, the shop assistant was shocked. He looked at Sima Yuyue with even more respect. He took the crystal card and the blue card with both hands and bowed slightly, saying, you have our most precious blue card. You can get a 15% discount on the price just now. The total is 85,000. We'll go and settle the price now. Please wait a moment. After he finished speaking, he took the crystal card and the blue card and went in. The people in the hall were so shocked that they couldn't speak. After a long time, someone said, I heard that Xianyuan Pavilion has 3 kinds of cards. The green card can give a 5% discount, the red card can give a 10% discount, and the blue card can give a 15% discount. However, there aren't many blue cards. It's said that you can count them with 2 hands. If it was said that they didn't think much of Sima Yuyue before, everyone's opinion of her had changed now. Xianyuan Pavilion placed a lot of importance on blue cards. Even the first-ranked clans had red cards. Only a few great masters had blue cards. However, she actually had a blue card. This meant that to Xianyuan Pavilion, she was even more important than the first-ranked clans. Huazi Jiao's face was burning. She naturally understood the difference between a blue card and a red card. Because a red card was lying in her ring at this moment. Thinking about how she had just said that country bumpkins had no money, their actions were like a slap to her face. Huazi Yan looked at Sima Yuyue. He didn't know what kind of status she had to be able to get such a precious blue card. Those who had blue cards were not only important guests of Xianyuan Pavilion, they were also important guests of the large clans. Very quickly, the shop assistant took out a blue card and a crystal card. He handed it to Sima Yuyue with both hands, saying, it's already been settled. After Sima Yuyue took the card, he took out 3 cards and said, this is the money for the 3 of you to sell your pills and spirit tools. Sima Yuyue took it all and turned around to hand it to the 3 of them. Then, she nodded to Sima Yuyang and the others before turning around to leave. Esteemed guests, please wait. The shop assistant called out. Is there anything else? Sima Yuyue asked. The shop assistant took out an invitation card and said, in half a month, Xianyuan Pavilion will be holding an auction. We would like to invite our esteemed guests to participate. In half a month. Sima Yuyue took the invitation card and said, if I am still here at that time, I will come and participate. After speaking, she left with the others and did not stay any longer. Throwing away 1,000 gold is not enough to describe it. Everyone sighed as they watched their backs. Throwing away 100,000 gold at once. Apart from those large clans, only people like them can be so bold. Those alchemists and weapon refiners seem to be faintly centered around that person. I think she must be even more capable. Of course. Otherwise, how could he have gotten the blue card? What if he picked it up? Everyone finally thought of this question and turned to look at the shop assistant. The shop assistant shook his head, saying, when we give out the blue card, it will be tainted with that person's aura. It will be easier for us to identify it. That card just now was really his. Truly, too monstrous. Chapter 224. After Sima Yuyue and the others left the Xianyuan Pavilion, they looked at each other and then burst into laughter. We haven't slapped anyone's face like this before. That feeling was just too great. Fatty Chu said with a big laugh. Little Two hugged the stone that Sima Yue had bought for him. He loved it so much that he couldn't put it down. He narrowed his eyes and said, "Who asked those people to be so annoying? They kept calling us country bumpkins. It's like they're asking for a slap in the face." Wei Ziqi stretched out his hand and patted Little Two's head, saying, "I didn't think that you would have a black-bellied side to you." "What black-bellied? I'm smart." Little Two was dissatisfied. Although he didn't know what this black-bellied meant, he could tell from these two words that it wasn't anything good. "The Sima family treated you like this. I wonder how they will react when you calling you 10 days later." Ouyang Fei said while rubbing his chin. "It will definitely be very exciting." Fatty Chu chuckled. "Since all of you have announced your identities to the world together, I'm sure you'll attract the attention of the major powers. Have you thought about which force you want to join?" Sima Yue asked. "I'm not going." Fatty Chu immediately denied it, saying, "We're following you now. We have a better future than those powers." "That's right. Our goal isn't here, but the primordial lands. We won't stay here forever." Wei Ziqi also said. "But I might be hunted down in 10 days. Are you sure you don't want to consider it?" Sima Yue did not want the people around her to be in danger. "No need. If we're really being hunted down, we'll just treat it as training." Fatty Chu said. "All right then. Then let's set off for our destination." Sima Yue smiled and said, "Since you don't want to accept the olive branch from other forces, then don't show up for the next few days. Go back and cultivate in seclusion." When they returned to the inn they were staying at, they told the innkeeper that everyone was going into seclusion and that they would not meet anyone who came to look for them. The shopkeeper didn't understand what was going on, but he soon understood. A large group of people came to see Sima Yue and the others. "Everyone, my apologies. Those guests have said that they will be in seclusion for 10 days. During this time, they won't be seeing any guests." The shopkeeper said. "You're not meeting anyone?" Sima Yuyang asked. "Yes. They said that if you need anything, you can come and find them in 10 days. The shopkeeper continued. "Huh, Sima Yuyang, I heard that those people were originally your friends. It's a pity that they were offended by someone from your clan who didn't recognize their worth. It's too late to try and pull them into your clan now." Ha ha ha. Sima Yuyang looked at those people and didn't say anything, but his expression wasn't too good. Hua Ziyan, who had come along, glanced at the room upstairs, his eyes flashing. He didn't expect that these people would actually go into seclusion as soon as they came back. They must have expected that someone would come looking for them. What did they mean by doing this? Did they want to see which forces were suitable for them? Some people who didn't know what was going on saw that so many forces were looking for them, but they were avoiding them. Could it be that they had some kind of background? You don't know this, do you? I just heard from the outside that among the 5 people, there are 2 alchemists, 1 refiner, 1 beast tamer, and 1 unknown person who has the most precious blue card of the Shenyuan Pavilion. That blue card doesn't even have a first-rate power. What? The people in the inn were stunned when they heard this. What kind of status did these people have? Could it be that they were from some kind of powerful force? Also, I heard that those people are not even 20 years old, but they have great attainments. They will definitely become great people in the future. These kind of people are called country bumpkins by others, saying that they have no money to buy things. In the end, they took a few thousand pills and hundreds of spirit tools to sell. This is a slap in the face. How can an alchemist, refiner, and beast tamer be poor? What a joke. Don't laugh even if it's funny. Because the ones who got slapped in the face are the Sima family and the Hua family. Be careful that they don't hear you and you get slapped in the face. Sima Yu and the others didn't really go into seclusion. They stayed upstairs to observe what was happening below. So many people came. Fatty Chu pursed his lips. Let the shopkeeper go and make a big deal. Wei Ziqi said. They didn't speak much now. They were constantly being questioned, but they were too lazy to deal with it. Everyone is guessing what kind of strong background we have. Wait until 10 days later and we let them know that we came from Dongchen Kingdom. I wonder what kind of expression they will have. Their mouths will definitely be big enough to stuff a fist in. Little Two said with a smile. I wonder if this will have any effect on saving your grandfather and the others? Bei Gong Tang was a little worried. Sima Yu thought for a while and said, it should have a good effect. You guys come with me. A few alchemists, refiners and beast tamers won't dare to be punished immediately. Then we'll wait for 10 days before coming out again. Let's all go into seclusion now. Ouyang Fei stood up and took the lead to leave. Everyone left Sima Yu's room. She sat cross-legged and began to use these 10 days to stabilize her cultivation. In these 10 days, Sima Yu and the others didn't take a single step downstairs. Many influential people were waiting for them downstairs, but they didn't see a single person. On the night before the 3-year deadline, Chongming came back and was injured. Sima Yu saw Chongming and said, "You're injured." "It's okay." Chongming said. "My soul is injured, so it takes a long time to recover." Sima Yu said as she took out a small bottle of soul fluid, saying, "With your strength, you should be able to take 2 drops." Although Chongming didn't know what it was, he could feel that it was extraordinary. He didn't act arrogantly and took the jade bottle and thanked her. "There's no need. I just want to have a guarantee for tomorrow's matter," Sima Yu said. Chongming took the soul fluid back to his room and took 2 drops. After that, he began to heal his injured soul. Sima Yu didn't ask him where he went or how he got injured. For someone like him to return injured, those things weren't something she could touch on right now. That night, she didn't enter into a state of cultivation. Instead, she stood by the window for the whole night, her gaze fixed on the courtyard of the Sima family. The next morning, Wei Ziqi and the others came out. After Sima Yu came out, they didn't go straight to the Sima family. Instead, they sent Little Two to Xianyuan Pavilion. "If it's possible, please protect him for now. I will definitely repay you in the future," Sima Yu said to the manager. Xianyuan Pavilion guessed that Sima Yu was going to do something dangerous. However, they still agreed. Although they didn't know how she got the blue card, they were happy to have her owe them a favor. Someone was right. To them, a person with a blue card was more important than any other power. Sima Yu and the others left Xianyuan Pavilion and went straight to the Sima family. "Sima family, Sima Yu, have come." Chapter 225. Knowing that Sima Yu and the others had come out of their seclusion, many forces came to establish a relationship with them. Sima Yu looked at these people. She wondered if they would still behave like this when they saw her and the Sima family. Where are they going? Someone saw them walking straight ahead and guessed that they had something to do. "This direction seems to lead to the Sima family," someone said. "Are they planning to join the Sima family?" "It can't be. Didn't they say that the Sima family offended them? That's why their identities were exposed. Are they going to settle the score with the Sima family? Hard to say." At this moment, in a remote courtyard of the Sima family, Sima Yuze and Sima Yue led a group of servants in. When they saw the people in the courtyard, they said, "You traitors, what are you still waiting for? Do you really think that a mere spirit master can cross the Sophia mountain range to save you?" Sima Lai opened his eyes and glanced at him before closing them again, ignoring him. Sima Yu saw that the few of them were indifferent and didn't look like prisoners at all. He stepped forward and kicked Sima Yu to the ground. "You traitors! After today, I'll see what reason that old bastard has to protect you." Sima Yu got up from the ground and looked at Sima Yue, saying, "If there is a tomorrow, I will definitely take your life." I don't think you'll be able to see tomorrow's sun. Why don't I send you to hell right now to meet your parents? Beat him up." "Yes, young master." The manservants swarmed forward, punching and kicking Sima Yu and the others. The latter's strength had been sealed, and they were no match for them at all. All of them were beaten black and blue. Sima family was in another hospital. Sima Lin, Sima Qing, and a few others were sitting together. Someone asked, "Big brother, I really don't understand. Why did you make this 3-year promise with a little spirit master? You wasted 3 years for nothing." "That's right. It's not like you don't know how dangerous the Sophia mountain range is. Even if that person's talent is outstanding, it's impossible for him to have the strength to cross it. Only spirit emperors can break through that barrier. I don't think she'll be able to come today." Everyone did not believe that Sima Yuyue would come today, as they all shook their heads, thinking that Sima Lin was only letting Sima lie and the rest live for another 3 years in vain. "I believe she will come." Sima Qing couldn't help but recall the unyielding figure from 3 years ago. He said, "That child, she will come. If you don't come, we'll have to punish Sima Lai and the others." Sima Ku said. Although his strength was not high, he was qualified to sit here because of his seniority. Sima Lin sat there calmly and did not tell them whether Sima Yuyue was coming or not. He picked up the teacup and took a sip. Looking at the tea leaves in the teacup, he wondered if he believed that she would come. Suddenly, he looked outside, and there was a faint smile in his eyes. "Sima family, 3 years have passed, and I, Sima Yuyue, have come to fulfill the appointment." With a loud shout, half of the Sima family was heard. Even the people in the secluded courtyard could hear it. Sima Yuming and the others had already been beaten to a pulp. They were all lying on the ground and did not even have the strength to get up. Sima Yuze left after getting the servants to beat them up. Hearing Sima Yoyue's voice, a few of them started to cry. "It really is Yuyu's voice," Sima Yuming said excitedly. "Fifth bro really came." Sima Yuchi looked towards the main door, saying, "Sophia mountain range is so dangerous, how did she come here? The barrier can only be broken by spirit emperors and above. She's already a spirit emperor. Will we be able to see her?" Sima Lai did not speak the entire time, only looking towards the main door. Sima Yuyue stood outside the main door of the Sima family and shouted loudly, giving everyone who followed her a shock. "Sima Yuyue? Why does this name sound a little familiar?" "I think so too, I think I've heard it somewhere before. But is there such a person in the Sima family? 3-year appointment. I remember now, 3 years ago, the Sima family caught a group of people who had escaped from the land of exile, but did not punish them immediately. Instead, they locked them up in a courtyard. I heard that they made a 3-year appointment with a junior. That person seems to be called Sima Yuyue." "What?" Everyone was shocked. "Then you're saying that she came out from the land of exile?" "Heavens, the land of exile is on the other side of the Sophia family. How did these people come out? I wonder what kind of appointment she made with them. We'll know when we continue watching. I initially thought that they were here to seek refuge with the Sima family, but I didn't think that they were here to fulfill the appointment." A group of people came out from the Sima family and were shocked when they saw Sima Yuyue and the others. When Sima Yuyang and Sima Yuqing heard what Sima Yuyue said, they were shocked at first before rushing over. After that, Sima Yulin and the Hua siblings who were staying here came out as well. "You're Sima Yuyue?" Sima Yuqing looked at Sima Yuyue in disbelief. Her own friend was actually the one who had made the appointment with their family. Sima Yuyue glanced at Sima Yuqing and did not deny it, continuing to shout, "Sima Lin, I've come to fulfill the appointment, where are you?" "Impudent. Is granduncle's name something you can call?" Someone shouted. Sima Yuyue smiled, saying, "If names are not meant to be called, are they meant to be eaten? If so, why don't you try one for me to see?" "Huh," when they heard what she said, the people around them all laughed. "No matter. Since you're here, come in." Sima Lin's voice came from inside. "It's better for you to come out. Do you think I'll be able to come out safely if I enter the Sima family?" Sima Yuyue said. Everyone was in an uproar. This Sima Lin has already been a spirit paragon for 2 years, but he can't even get a junior to come out. This Sima family will be like a sheep entering a tiger's den if you enter. You might not be able to come out. It's better to stay outside. It's safer. Sima Yuyue, a junior, actually dares to speak like this. The Sima family said unhappily. I didn't even make an appointment with you. What are you shouting for? Sima Yuyue said. You're looking for death. That person had lost face and was about to attack. Stop. Sima Yulin shouted at that person, then looked at Sima Yuyue, saying, What do you want? I'm here to fulfill the appointment, not to provoke. Sima Yuyue said, I've brought the thing, I want to see my family. Thing, what thing? Aside from a few people, nobody knew what Sima Yuyue had that would allow her to make a deal with a first-ranked power. Sima Yuyue took out a golden snake fruit, and its fragrance filled the air. Golden snake fruit. A voice called out, telling everyone where this fruit came from. Chapter 226. It's the Alchemist Guild's vice president. Everyone recognized the person who spoke just now and said in surprise, Why is he here? A few days ago, 2 young 4th-grade alchemists appeared. Presumably, the Alchemist Guild would also be interested. Someone guessed. Sima Yuyue turned around and saw a skinny and capable old man standing out from the crowd, staring straight at the golden snake fruit in her hand. President Ma. When the members of the Sima family saw Molly, they all bowed respectfully. Molly ignored them and went to Sima Yuyue and said, Can I take a look at this golden snake fruit? Sima Yuyue shook her head and said, Grandpa, not now. I want to use this to make a deal with the Sima family. What deal? Molly asked. 3 years ago, I made an agreement with Sima Lin. He would protect my grandfather and the others for 3 years, and I would find the golden snake fruit for them. Now, I have already brought the golden snake fruit as promised. I am waiting for them to let me see my grandfather and brother. Sima Yuyue said, Grandpa, if you want to see it, wait until I see if my grandpa and the others are safe. Your grandfather is Sima Lai? Molly asked. Sima Yuyue nodded. Then why don't you go in? Sima Yuyue looked at the Sima family's door and said, I'm just a little spirit master. If I go in, I'm afraid I'll die before I see my grandfather. How dare you? Someone from the Sima family roared, Our family has always been open and above board. How dare you slander us? It's not that I'm slandering you, but you don't have enough trust in me. Sima Yuyue said, Are you going to let me see my grandfather and the others or not? If you don't, I will destroy this golden snake fruit. As she spoke, she pinched the golden snake fruit tightly. As long as she used her strength, the golden snake fruit would be destroyed. You, don't. Sima Yuyang and Sima Yuqing cried out at the same time, their hearts in their throats. Hey, young man, don't be so impulsive. Molly waved his hand and almost came up to pry her hand away. Do you know how precious this thing is? Perhaps this is the only one in the entire world. Don't be rash, don't be rash. Sima Yuyue looked at Sima Yulin, saying, Don't you have the highest position now? I want to see my grandfather and the others. They can't come out now. Sima Yulin said, Without the clan leader's orders, they can't leave the courtyard. Then let Sima Lin say it. Sima Yuyue said, He promised me that he would protect my grandfather and the rest. Come in. I'll guarantee your life. Sima Qing's voice rang out. Sima Yuyue was still hesitating. Since we've encountered such a situation, why don't I accompany you in? I can guarantee your safety. Molly squinted his eyes and said, But you have to promise me that you'll let me take a look at this fruit. SSS, with the protection of the vice president of the Alchemist Guild, there will definitely be no danger. That's right, even if the Sima family is a first-class force, they still have to listen to Molly, otherwise, all the alchemists in the world will cut off all contact with them. I wonder if she will go in. I think so. Sima Yuyue was actually not worried about her own safety. Chongming's injuries had already healed. Unless the Sima family had a few godly figures, nobody would be able to stop her if she wanted to leave. Wei Ziqi and the others had been quietly standing by her side, waiting for her to make a decision. Let's go in. Sima Yuyue sighed, when the time comes, I'll have to ask Grandpa to help me. Okay, as long as you let me see the golden snake fruit. Molly rubbed his hands and said. Please. Sima Yulin gestured for her to enter. Sima Yuyue lifted her feet and walked in. She knew that they would not deal with this at the entrance. After all, this might involve things that they did not know. She was only doing this to create momentum outside. Chongming followed beside Sima Yuyue. When he passed by the Hua siblings, he glanced at them lightly, causing them to feel as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. What a strong feeling. Hua Zijiao said blankly after they entered. Hua Ziyan felt a chill run down his spine. That gaze felt as if it could pierce through them. That person, who is it? Sima Yuyue followed Sima Yulin to the main hall. Sima Lin, Sima Qing, and the others were waiting inside. She glanced around. Those who were able to sit here were not weak. It seemed that they were not young either. Granduncles, Sima Yuyue is here. Sima Yulin bowed respectfully to the people in the house. You are Sima Yuyue? Are you the one who shouted for my big brother to come out? An old man glanced at Sima Yuyue. The pressure of a spirit saint pressed down on her. Sima Yuyue stood where she was and did not move at all. She said lightly, your pressure is useless against me. You should save it. After that, she looked at Sima Lin, saying, I've brought the thing. I want to see my grandpa and the others to confirm whether they are still alive. Sima Lin looked at the current Sima Yuyue, and his heart was filled with shock. He never thought that the little spirit master from back then would have grown to this extent. Even Sima Yulin, who was hailed as the #1 genius, had not improved so much. Bring them here. Sima Lin said. Yes, clan leader. While they were waiting, Sima Lin looked at Molly, who was pacing around Sima Yuyue, saying, Molly, why did you run here instead of guarding your pill furnace in the alchemy guild? I'm here to watch a good show. Molly said without thinking. After that, he quickly denied it, saying, I heard that those perverts had come out, so I came to see what kind of people they were. I didn't think that I would run into something like this. I promised to protect him, and he promised to show me the golden snake fruit. Since this is the case, sit down and wait. Sima Lin said. No need. Molly waved his hands decisively. He wanted to stand beside Sima Yuyue, as if he would be able to smell the golden snake fruit this way. These must be the few little geniuses that have been spreading like wildfire recently, right? An elder from the Sima family said. Wei Ziqi and the others had yet to speak when Molly jumped up, saying, What do you want to do? They are the ones that we chose first. Don't snatch them from us. Molly, what do they have to do with you? Have they entered your alchemy guild? Why are you making such a big fuss? That elder had a fiery temper as well, and started to argue with Molly. I'm not going to argue with you today. Molly's thoughts were all on the golden snake fruit, and he did not even bother with his old rival. The courtyard that Sima Lai and the others lived in was very far from the main courtyard. Just as Sima Yuyue was about to lose her patience, she finally heard some movement. Quickly go in. The voice of the guard was heard, and she could not wait to turn around. However, when she saw Sima Lai and the others, her excitement immediately turned into anger, and her entire body emitted a terrifying aura. Chapter 227. Grandpa, big brother, how did you become like this? Who beat you up like this? Sima Yuyue ran over and looked at them angrily and sadly. Sima Lai and the other 5 all had extremely serious injuries on their bodies. Because their spirit qi had been sealed, they couldn't even heal themselves. Sima Yulu couldn't even walk and needed 2 guards to support him. When Sima Lai and the others saw Sima Yuyue, they were extremely emotional and their eyes were wet. Yuyue, you're here. Sima Lai said as he caressed Sima Yuyue's face. Grandfather, I'm here. Sima Yuyue held Sima Lai's hand and said, I'm here to save you. After saying that, she turned around to look at Sima Lin and said, this is what you meant by protecting my grandfather and the others? If I came 2 days later, I'm afraid I would only see a few cold corpses. Sima Lin never thought that Sima Lai and the others would be like this. He turned his gaze to Sima Yulin and asked, who did it? Yue and Yuzhe go to the abandoned courtyard from time to time. Sima Yulin replied. Grandpa, eat these pills first. Sima Yue took out a few pills for them to eat. Level 5 Vitality Recovery Pill. Molly, who was standing at the side, knew what kind of pill it was the moment he smelled it. His eyes lit up as he looked at Sima Yue. Those two alchemists were said to be 4th-grade alchemists. Could it be that she was a 5th-grade alchemist? Thinking about how the Shenyuan Pavilion had given her a blue card, this was not impossible. Sima Yue gave the pills to Sima Lin and the rest. Seeing that they were unable to circulate their spirit chi to heal their injuries, she grabbed their hands to check and raised her head in shock. No spiritual energy? Where is your spiritual energy? It's just that their spiritual energy has been sealed, they haven't been crippled. Sima Qing explained as he felt that Sima Yue was about to flip out. Grandfather? Sima Yue looked at Sima Lai in disbelief. Don't worry, it's just a seal. Sima Lai said. Sima Yue, we have already agreed to protect the lives of your grandfather and the others for 3 years. Shouldn't you fulfill your promise and give us the golden snake fruit? The old man who had previously exerted pressure on Sima Yue said. Release the seal. Sima Yue said. Sima Lin shook his head and said, this won't do. Why? I've already brought the things over. Sima Yue looked at Sima Lin. We still haven't investigated the truth of what happened that year. Right now, we still can't confirm whether or not they are traitors to the clan. Sima Lin said. You haven't been able to find out after so many years. How are you going to find out now? Sima Yue said, are you saying that if you can't find out the truth in a year, you won't return my grandfather's freedom for a year? If you can't find out the truth in 100 years, you won't return their freedom for 100 years? What happened that year has already happened 100 years ago. How could it be that easy to find out the truth? Sima Lin did not bother about Sima Yue's attitude and said, back then, 3rd grandfather had the raging inferno / Lai's father was not qualified to cultivate it. However, the spirit technique ended up in his hands. He said that it was given to him by 3rd grandfather. However, when we went over, we only saw 3rd grandfather's corpse. There are no witnesses? Sima Yue asked. There is one. Sima Lin said, one of our little uncles was also injured at that time. We paid a huge price to save him. However, his soul was injured. When he woke up, he was always in a daze. He was completely unable to speak of what happened that year. Your golden snake fruit was used to treat him? Sima Yue thought back to her own guess. Indeed, someone's soul was injured. That's right. With the golden snake fruit, if little uncle can wake up, we can find out the truth of what happened that year. Sima Lin said. Then you should quickly treat him and prove my grandfather's innocence. Sima Yue said. If there was a direct witness from that year, then this matter would be much easier to handle. Her soul was injured. To someone like her who possessed the spirit pagoda, it was not incurable. We will need a few days. Sima Lin said, we are still lacking an item. It will be available at the auction in a few days. What item? Earth Dragon Marrow. She knew about the Earth Dragon Marrow. It was the essence of the Earth Dragon stone that was formed between heaven and earth. It would take a few hundred years to form a single drop. This item was indeed useful for the soul. However, it could not be compared to the spirit fluid formed by the spirit pagoda. Can you let me see that, senior? Maybe I can treat him. She requested. What kind of status do you have? Do you think my little uncle is someone you can meet just because you want to? Sima-kun knew about what happened that year. Naturally, he would not allow them to treat that old fellow. If not for the fact that that person had been in a daze all these years, they would have killed him long ago. Little brat, are you a doctor or an alchemist? Molly asked. Both. That vitality recovery pill was refined by you? Molly's eyes lit up. Sima Yue replied. Damn, I was just guessing. It was really refined by you? Such a young 5th-tier alchemist. TSK, are you interested in joining our alchemist guild? Let's talk about it in the future. Sima Yue said. Alright. Let's talk about it after you have settled the matters here. Molly nodded. Such a young 5th-tier alchemist. Evildoer. Everyone's gaze towards Sima Yue changed. They did not expect her to be a 5th-tier alchemist. Yes, I heard that you have the blue card of the Xian Yuan Pavilion. So that's how it is. Sima Lin said, however, we have looked for many doctors. They all said that the Earth Dragon marrow is not enough. Sima Yue did not want to say that she had the spirit fluid on her. She decided to take a step back and said, we can wait a few days. However, you have to release my grandfather and the rest. At the very least, you have to release their seals. You also have to punish the person who harmed them. This, impudent. You still want to ask for so much from us. It's already not bad that we have left them alive. Don't ask for so much. Sima Yi, the elder who had used his aura to suppress her, shouted. So you're saying that you're not willing? Sima Yue said. Sima Yue and the rest are direct descendants of the 4 branches. Sima Qing said. I don't care whether they are direct descendants or not. Since they harmed my grandfather and the rest, they have to pay the price. Sima Yue stood beside Sima Lai and the rest. Seeing the new and old wounds on their bodies, it was obvious that they had been beaten up badly in the past 3 years. 5th bro, that Sima Yue said that he would kill us today. Sima Yue had eaten a pill and had recovered a little. He could stand on his own. Sima Yue looked at Sima Lin, saying, I'll ask you again. Will you punish the person who harmed my grandfather and the rest? That's impossible. Sima Ku shouted. Then don't blame me. 1,000 resonance, kill him. Sima Yue said coldly. A white shadow flashed in front of everyone's eyes. Following that, a scream was heard from outside, followed by a commotion. Yu has been killed. The people outside shouted. You killed my grandson. I'll kill you. Sima Ku never thought that Sima Yue would kill him just like that. He slammed the table and released a spirit saint attack. Cat pounce. Chapter 228. After not seeing him for 3 years, Sima Ku had actually advanced to Spirit Emperor. Be careful. The Sima family members were far away from Sima Yue and could not stop him in time. Molly's strength was not as strong as Sima Yi's and could not take this move. 5th bro. Sima Yuming and the others saw this attack and were so scared that their hearts were about to jump out. Sima Lai was standing beside Sima Yue and his first reaction when he saw the attack was to pull Sima Yue into his embrace and turn around to face the attack. A white light flashed in from the outside and arrived in front of them. With a slap of its claws, it easily resolved the crisis. Divine Beast of the 5th level. Everyone saw 1,000 resonances level and cried out in surprise. Sima Ku looked at 1,000 resonance. He had just broken through to Spirit Emperor. Compared to 1,000 resonance, the difference was too great. No wonder he's so fearless. It turns out that he has something to rely on. Sima Yi looked at Sima Lai and Sima Yue fiercely, but even so, it won't be able to save your life today. Don't even think about taking a step out of the Sima family after killing them. Sima Yue came out from Sima Lai's embrace and shielded him behind her. She was not afraid of Sima Yi. I just said that I wanted you to punish them, but you were the ones who were unwilling. Since that's the case, I can only do it myself. What right do you have to decide their life and death? Someone rebuked. Sima Yuyue snorted coldly, my grandpa and the others have more injuries than today, right? Since they dared to harm my family, they should be prepared to die. Second brother, don't talk to her anymore. She killed Yuzei. You have to take revenge for him. Sima Ku's eyes were bloodshot as he glared at Sima Yuyue. Don't worry, how can anyone casually kill the people of our 4 bloodlines? Sima Yi said, you're just a spirit beast, we have more than one spirit paragon here. In order to support his words, the person who had just accused Sima Yuyue also released the pressure of a spiritual venerable. Seeing this, Sima Yuyue and the other brothers were anxious for Sima Yuyue and wanted her to leave quickly. Yuyue, let 1,000 resonance take you and them away. That's right. Their spiritual beasts are either spiritual emperors or spiritual venerables. You should leave first. What's the use of having so many spiritual paragons? Sima Yuyue was not in a hurry and said, I have a friend who can handle it. Shameless boasting. Sima Yi berated. Am I wrong? Sima Yuyue looked at them and said, originally, I could have come here directly to take them away. I spent so much time just to see what kind of character you have and whether or not you're worthy of my grandfather and the others acknowledging your ancestors. But you guys are really too disappointing. Hearing her say that, even Sima Lin and Sima Qing's faces turned ugly. I'll take my grandfather and the others away now. Let's see who can stop me. Sima Yuyue shot a look at Fatty Chu and the others. They all came beside Sima Yuran and the others, each supporting one of them as they walked out. Men, take them down. Sima Yi ordered. Sima Yuyue and the others supported Sima Lai and the others into the courtyard. Many spirit overlords and spiritual paragons descended from the sky and surrounded the courtyard. Sima Yi and the others also flew out from the hall. Sima Ku looked at Sima Lai viciously, hating that he could not kill them immediately. Only then did Molly come back to his senses and run out. Seeing this scene, he shouted at Sima Yi, I said that I will ensure that this brat leaves the Sima residence safely. Are you going to shed all pretense of cordiality with me? Sima Yuyue looked at Molly. She never thought that this old man would really protect her. If he didn't kill my descendants and didn't want to take the traitor away, I would naturally let him leave. But he killed Yuzei and wants to take these people away. No matter what, I have to take his life today. Sima Yuyue looked at Sima Yi. Hearing what he said, she laughed coldly, Chongming, I want his life. Her casual words caused everyone's heart to tighten. Ha 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 dash, Sima Yi laughed loudly, saying, just based on you, you want to take my life? This is the funniest joke I've ever heard. Sima Yuyue ignored him and pointed at Sima Ku, saying, and this person? She wanted to kill him 3 years ago. She never thought that in these 3 years, he would not be able to kill her grandfather, so he would get his own grandson to bring people to beat them up every few days. That's all? Chongming asked. Sima Yuyue turned her head to look at Sima Yuming and the others, saying, brothers, who do you want to kill? Sima Yuran looked at Sima Yuyue. Her eyes were filled with uncontrollable rage as she smiled and said, just these 2. As for the rest, we will take revenge ourselves. Okay. Sima Yuyue nodded. She liked to take revenge herself, so she could understand Sima Yuran's feelings. Chongming, I want to bring grandfather and the others back to heal. Kill them and I'll give you a golden snake fruit. Chongming raised his eyebrows. How did she know that he wanted a golden snake fruit? You still have a golden snake fruit? When he heard what she said, Molly's eyes shone, saying, why don't I help you kill them and you'll give me a golden snake fruit? The Sima family was speechless at Molly's actions. Did he really want to fall out with the Sima family? Molly, the Alchemist Guild is not under your control. You want to be enemies with the Sima family? Have you thought it through? Sima Ku roared. At this moment, Chongming moved. He stood where he was and stretched out his hand. With a light tap, Sima Ku felt as if he had been imprisoned. Break. Chongming said softly. His magnetic voice was intoxicating, but the words that came out of his mouth were terrifying. When he finished speaking, Sima-ku did not even have time to scream before he turned into a bloody mist. Not even a trace of him was left. Everyone was so shocked by Chongming's move that they took 2 steps back. He killed a spirit saint with a light tap. This was too terrifying. Even if you advanced from a spirit overlord to a spirit saint, your fate will be the same. Sima Yue said. Sima Yi looked at Chongming and a wave of fear rose from the bottom of his heart, saying, "Who are you?" The aura of a sacred beast was emitted and the people and beasts in the air all fell down. Sacred beast. It's really, other than Sima Yue and the rest, everyone else was suppressed by the sacred beast's aura. They all felt as if they were suffocating. Chongming stretched out his hand and Sima Yi flew into his hand. "No, don't kill me." Sima Yi was scared. Even though he was already a spirit paragon, he was still a match for many sacred beasts. "Have mercy." An old voice came from the back of the mountain. "This aura, its 7th grandfather." Sima Lai raised his head and looked at the back of the mountain. "Lai, you're back." That voice said. "7th grandfather, you're still alive." Sima Lai was too excited and his body was trembling. "I'm still alive." The old ancestor of the Sima family said, "If not for the sacred beast's aura waking me up, I would still be in closed-door cultivation. Please, Your Highness, please show mercy." Everyone's gaze turned towards Sima Yue. Even Chongming looked at her. "Kill." Sima Yue said coldly without hesitation. Chapter 229. Everyone was shocked. Even if Sima Lai's grandfather pleaded for leniency, she still wouldn't let Sima Yi off. "Yue." Sima Qing said, wanting to remind her to think carefully. "He allowed his descendants to bully my grandfather and brother to this extent, and even wanted to kill us. Leaving such a person alive will be a great disaster." Sima Yue said, "And what I can't tolerate the most is bullying my family. Whoever dares to bully them should be prepared to die." No, I was wrong. I won't dare to bully you guys in the future." Sima Lin shouted out, his face filled with regret. But Sima Yue could see a ruthless look in his eyes. If he didn't die today, he would definitely find an opportunity to kill them all in the future. "Although you said you were wrong, you didn't hide the killing intent in your heart. Chongming, do it." Sima Yue ordered. Chongming glanced at her and exerted force in his hand, directly taking Sima Yi's life. "You!" When the Sima family saw that she had really killed Sima Yi, they were both shocked and furious. The old ancestor of the Sima family sighed and said, "You guys come over. His Excellency and the other young friends should come as well." "Chongming, withdraw your pressure," Sima Yue said. Chongming withdrew his pressure. Just like when he came, he gave off an unfathomable feeling. However, everyone knew that he was a sacred beast, so no one dared to probe his depths. Without the invisible pressure, everyone was able to straighten their bodies and breathe deeply. "Yulin, bring some men to clean up this place." Sima Lin instructed Sima Yulin before turning to Sima Lai, "Let's go." Sima Yue saw that Sima Lai was very excited after hearing the old ancestor's voice and knew that he would definitely want to see him. She supported him and asked while walking, "Grandfather, who is the one who spoke?" "That's my second grandpa, my grandfather's brother. He has always been very good to us. I was still young at that time, but I remember how he took care of us." Sima Lai recalled, "At that time, one of us was captured. We tried our best to escape but were ambushed. It was second grandfather who saved us and let us go. In that case, he can be considered our benefactor." Sima Yue said. "Second grandpa has no children and is on good terms with my grandpa. After my grandfather passed away, it was second grandpa who took care of us. If it weren't for him, our branch would have been long gone. We simply wouldn't have been able to wait for my father and uncle to grow up. Sima Lai said with a sigh. Yue, how did you get out? Little Roar helped. Sima Yue replied. Along the way, Sima Lai and the others kept asking her questions. She briefly told them what happened after they left. When they heard that the Nalan family and other forces were trying to divide the Sima family, the grandfather and the grandchildren were furious. Sima Yue comforted them and told them how to resolve the crisis. However, she didn't mention that she had become a beast tamer master. Instead, she said that she had asked Wei Ziqi to help her find the beast tamer master guild. It's been hard on you, Sima Lai said as he rubbed Sima Yue's head. Sima Yue shook her head and smiled. That is our home. To be able to protect it is what I should do. In the past, it was always grandfather and brother who protected me. The only thing I can do is to protect our home. Seeing the smile on Sima Yue's face and hearing the warmth of her home, everyone was confused. Was the person who killed so decisively just now really her? Or was this obedient and gentle person her real? As they spoke, they arrived at the back of the mountain. Thinking about how many people of spirit saint level and above lived in such a large mountain range, it was obvious that they were a first-rate power. Sima Lin didn't say anything along the way. He only listened to Sima Yue talk about how they had spent the past 3 years and sighed in his heart. It was no wonder that she had improved so quickly. So it was because she had been on the brink of death. He brought them to the middle of a mountain peak and a cave appeared in the vines. He took the lead and walked in with his head lowered. The people behind him walked in one after another. After passing through a short tunnel, they arrived at a stone room. An old man sat on a prayer mat on a stone bed. Greetings to second grandfather. Sima Lai, Sima Lin and the others bowed to that person. Sima Yue and the others bowed as well. Only Chongming remained standing without moving. Lai, The old man looked at Sima Lai and his calm eyes flashed with a trace of a smile. His face was filled with wrinkles. He was different from the other peak spirit paragons. He did not choose to stay young forever. Second grandfather, I'm back. Sima Lai knelt down and bowed to the elder that he had respected so much. Sima Yuming and the others saw this and knelt down as well. Sima Yue stood there without moving. Your bloodline is now only left with the few of you, the old man said. He raised his hand and a few rays of light entered their bodies. Grandfather. Sima Yue cried out anxiously. Don't worry, this is to remove the seal on them, the old ancestor said. Sima Lin also explained, the seal on our Sima family can only be removed by us. That's why even if you take them away, you can't let them recover their cultivation. You should first refine the great medicine in your bodies, the old ancestor said. After that, he said to Sima Lin, tell me what happened. Sigh, I'm getting old. I've been meditating for so many years. Sima Lin started from 3 years ago when he went to the Dongchen kingdom. Sima Lai and the others got used to the feeling of controlling the spiritual energy. After that, they used their spiritual energy to catalyze the recovery pill. Chongming had not said a word since he came in. At this moment, he was also standing there quietly. It wasn't that the old ancestor didn't want to bother with him. It was just that the moment he came in, he acted as if he didn't exist. It wasn't good for him to pull him aside and say anything. Sima Lin explained everything once. After that, the old ancestor said, even if they were wrong, you shouldn't kill them all. After all, they are still a family. Don't. I'm only a family member of grandfather and my brothers. I'm not related to those people. If grandfather acknowledges his ancestors, then you all can be considered. Sima Yue said, however, didn't you all want to punish grandfather and the others as traitors? That's why we shouldn't be a family anymore. That year's matter is indeed confusing. If you want to reconstruct what happened then, you need to cure the youngest, the old ancestor said. I said I'll try, but they said no. Sima Yue said, I even suspected that they wanted to harm him secretly, so that he wouldn't be able to clear his name from my grandfather and the others for the rest of his life. You're mistaken. The old ancestor said, many years ago, we were searching for the golden snake fruit and earth dragon marrow. We didn't come here to make things difficult for you. Furthermore, most people wouldn't be able to harm little uncle. Sima Lin said. Why? Although little uncle's mind isn't clear, his cultivation is still very high. It's just that he's mentally retarded. If someone wanted to harm him, he would definitely take that person's life. Sima Lin replied. All right then. Sima Yuyue pursed her lips. Since it's like this, then I'll go take a look at him. Who knows, I might be able to cure him. Chapter 230. Everyone was shocked. Even though Sima Lai and their grandfathers were pleading for mercy, she still wouldn't let Sima Yi off. Yuyue. Sima Qin called out, wanting to remind her to think it over carefully. He allowed his own descendant to bully my grandfather and brother to this extent, and even wanted to kill us. It will be a disaster if such a person is left alive, Sima Yuyue said. Moreover, what I can't tolerate the most is bullying my family. Whoever bullies them should be prepared to die. No, I was wrong. I will never dare to bully you again. Sima Lin shouted, his face full of regret. However, Sima Yuyue could see the ruthlessness in his eyes. If he didn't die today, he would definitely find a chance to kill them all in the future. Although you said you were wrong, you didn't hide the killing intent in your heart. Chongming, do it. Sima Yuyue ordered. Chongming glanced at her, exerted force in his hand, and took Sima Yi's life. You. When the Sima family saw that she really killed Sima Yi, they were both shocked and furious. The old ancestor of the Sima family sighed, and said, the few of you, come over here. His honor and the few young friends, come over as well. Chongming, retract your aura, Sima Yuyue said. Chongming retracted his aura, and just like when he came, he gave off an unfathomable feeling. However, everyone knew that he was a transcending divine beast, so no one dared to probe his depths. Without the invisible pressure, everyone could straighten their bodies and take a deep breath. Yulin, take some people and clean up this place, Sima Lin instructed Sima Yulin, and then said to Sima Lai, let's go. Sima Yuyue saw that Sima Lai was very excited after hearing the old ancestor's voice, and knew that he would definitely want to see him. She supported him, and as they walked, she asked, Grandfather, who was the one who spoke? That's my second grandfather, my grandfather's older brother. He has always been very good to us. I was still young back then, but I still remember how he took care of us. Sima Lai recalled, at that time, our branch was caught, and we struggled to escape, but we were ambushed. It was second grandfather who saved us, and let us go. In that case, he can be considered our benefactor, Sima Yuyue said. Second grandfather had no children, and he had a good relationship with my grandfather. After my grandfather passed away, it was always second grandfather who took care of us. If it weren't for him, our branch would have been long gone, and we wouldn't have had the chance to wait for my father and uncle to grow up. Sima Lai seemed to feel something. Yuyue, how did you get out? With Roar's help, Sima Yuyue answered. Along the way, Sima Lai and the others kept asking her questions, and she briefly told them what happened after they left. When they heard that the Nalan family and other forces were trying to divide the Sima family, they were furious. Sima Yuyue comforted them, and then told them how to resolve the crisis, but she did not mention that she had become a beast tamer. Instead, she asked Wei Ziki to help her find the beast tamer union. It's been hard on you. Sima Lai touched Sima Yuyue's head and said. Sima Yuyue shook her head and said with a smile, that's our home. It's my duty to protect it. In the past, it was you and Grandpa who protected me. The only thing I could do was to keep our home alive. Seeing the smile on Sima Yuyue's face, and hearing the warmth in her voice when she talked about home, everyone was confused. Was the person who killed so decisively just now really her? Or was this obedient and docile person her? As they spoke, they arrived at the back of the mountain. Thinking about how many people above the Spirit Emperor level lived in such a large mountain range, it was obvious that it was a first-rate force. Along the way, Sima Lin did not speak. He only listened to Sima Yue talk about how they had been living in the past 3 years. He sighed in his heart. No wonder she had improved so quickly. It turned out that she had trained on the edge of death. He led them to the mountainside of a mountain peak, and a cave appeared among the vines. He lowered his head and walked in first. The people behind him walked in one after another. After passing through a short passageway, they arrived at a stone room. An old man was sitting on a cattail hassock on a stone bed. "Greetings, second grandpa." Sima Lai, Sima Lin, and the others bowed to the old man together. Sima Yue and the others also bowed to the old man. Only Chong Ming stood still. Lai, The old man looked at Sima Lai, and a hint of a smile flashed across his emotionless eyes. His face was full of wrinkles. He was different from ordinary people at the peak of the spiritual venerable level. He did not choose to stay young forever. "Second grandpa, I'm back." Sima Lai knelt down and bowed to the old man he had respected and loved. Sima Yue and the others also knelt down. Sima Yue stood still. "You are the only ones left in your bloodline," the old man said. He raised his hand, and several rays of light entered into their bodies. "Grandpa." Sima Yue shouted nervously. "Don't worry. This is to remove the seal for them," the old man said. Sima Lin also explained, "Only we can remove the Sima family's seal. So, even if you take them away, you can't let them resume their cultivation. You should first refine the medicine in your bodies," the old man said. Then he said to Sima Lin, "Tell me what happened." "Alas, I'm getting old. I've been meditating for several years." Sima Lin started from his trip to Dongchen country 3 years ago. Sima Lai and the rest had to get used to the feeling of controlling spirit qi again. Then, they used their spirit qi to catalyze the vitality recovery pill. Chong Ming had not said a word since he came in. At this moment, he stood quietly. It was not that the old man did not want to talk to him. It was just that the moment he came in, he acted as if he did not exist. It was not good for him to talk to him. Sima Lin told the old man everything. When he finished, the old man said, "Even if they are wrong, it is not necessary to kill them all. After all, they are still a family. Don't. I'm just a family member of Grandpa and my brothers. I'm not like those people. If Grandpa returns to the family, then you guys are family." Sima Yue said, "But didn't you want to deal with Grandpa and the rest as traitors? So, we are probably not a family anymore." What happened back then was indeed confusing. "If we want to restore what happened back then, we need to cure the youngest," the old man said. "I said I would try, but they said no," Sima Yue said. "I even suspect that they want to harm him secretly, so that they can't clear my grandpa's name for the rest of their lives." "You misunderstand." The old man said, "We have been looking for the golden snake fruit and the earth dragon marrow for many years. We did not come here to make things difficult for you. Moreover, ordinary people can't hurt little uncle," Sima Lin said. "Why?" "Although little uncle is delirious, his cultivation is very high. It's just that he is stupid. If someone wants to harm him, he will definitely kill them." Sima Lin replied. "All right." Sima Yue curled her lips, "In that case, I will go and see him. Maybe I can cure him." Chapter 231. Since the first day, the light of advancement in this courtyard had been constantly flashing. It could be seen several times a day. The Sima family had never faced such a situation before. Although Sima Lai and his grandchildren were sealed and could not use spirit qi, they did not give up on absorbing it. However, when the spirit qi entered their bodies, it only accumulated and did not increase their cultivation. Now that the seal had been undone, Sima Yuming and the other 3 brothers had all increased by a few ranks, and had all entered the ranks of great spirit masters. Even Sima Lai had increased by 1 rank, and had become a 3rd-grade spirit saint. After that, they ate the 100 revolutions pill that Sima Yu gave them, cleansing their bodies and increasing their ranks by 2 ranks. Sima Yu Ming and Sima Yu Qi even entered the ranks of spirit kings. Sima Lai, on the other hand, had advanced to become a 4th-level spirit emperor. Sima Yuyue was completely unaware of what was happening outside. She let Little Roar set up a barrier to separate the inside and outside of the house to prevent any accidents from happening during the treatment. She first gave Sima Jun a few needles, then kept all the spirit healing herbs that Sima Lin had given her. She only took out 2 or 3 kinds of herbs and refined their essences, refining them into pills for Sima Jun to eat. After that, she took out the golden snake fruit and cut off a small piece. After extracting the essence, she let him drink it. Sima Jun lived up to his name as a spirit venerable rank expert. He digested all the medicinal ingredients in 2 days. Normal people wouldn't be able to wake up without 10 days to half a month. On the 3rd day, Sima Yuyue took out 2 drops of soul fluid and dripped it into Sima Jun's mouth before removing the silver needles from his body. Sima Jun opened his eyes and glanced at Sima Yuyue. Without saying anything, he closed his eyes and continued to digest the huge amount of energy. Sima Yuyue noticed that his gaze was different from usual. She knew that he would recover after he woke up, so she got up and left. Yuyu, are you done? Wei Ziqi and the rest were waiting outside. Seeing her come out, they asked. Sima Yuyue nodded and said, he should be fine when he wakes up. Where are my grandpa and the others? They've been advancing so fast these past 2 days that they've almost gone crazy. They only stopped this morning and are now consolidating their cultivation. Fatty Chu said. That's good. They waited in the courtyard for a day and talked about the future. Yuyue, if your grandfather and the others want to return to the family, what about you? I'll follow grandpa and the rest. If they stay, then I'll stay too. If they want to leave, I'll leave too. Sima Yuyue said, we haven't had a stable environment to cultivate in all these years. If it's possible, you can stay here. A stable environment is more suitable for cultivation. I still want to go with you. Fatty Chu said. For the past few years, he had already treated Sima Yuyue as his backbone. He felt that he was not mentally prepared to face a situation without her. If you stay, we can buy a house nearby. If you want to leave, we will also leave with you. Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yuyue nodded and said, let's wait and see. A day passed in the blink of an eye. When the morning glow of the 2nd day shone down, Sima Jun walked out of the house. At this moment, there was no longer any innocence on his face. His eyes were like those of a normal person. It seemed that he had really recovered. Sima Lin and the others, who had been waiting for a long time, stepped forward and bowed when they saw him. Greetings, uncle. Sima Jun's face was solemn. He swept his gaze over everyone present and asked, where's that bastard Sima Chang? Uncle, 5th uncle has already passed away many years ago. Sima Lin said. Dead? Sima Jun stared at Sima Lin. After confirming that he was not lying to him, he asked again, where are his descendants? Sima Kai and Sima Yi are already dead. Sima Ku is in his own house. I've already sent someone to call him. Sima Lin replied. At this moment, a guard came and said that Sima Ku, Sima Yue and the others were no longer in the Sima family. Are you sure? Sima Lin asked. Yes, the guard said that he saw them leave and never return. Furthermore, they took their things with them. The guard replied. Do they know that I can't hide those things now that I'm awake? Sima Jun snorted coldly. Uncle, you're saying that the person who hurt you that year, it's that bastard Sima Chang. The Sima family said through gritted teeth, at that time, I went to look for my father, but happened to see him poisoning my father and killing him. He even beat me until I was heavily injured. If it weren't for the fact that someone came in time, I would have been beaten to death. That matter was really done by someone else. It wasn't fourth uncle and the others. Sima Lin said. Who did you say did it? Sima Jun glared at Sima Lin. Sima Lin recounted everything that had happened. After Sima Jun heard it, he closed his eyes in pain, saying, I never thought that Sima Chang and the others would actually play the blame game. This matter has nothing to do with Lai and the others. Raging Inferno / was passed down from my father to his father. No wonder Sima Ku and the others kept saying that they had to immediately deal with brother Lai and the others. It turns out that they were afraid that the matter would be exposed. Sima Qing said, now that they see that uncle is about to recover, they ran away in fear of punishment. Pass down my orders. Immediately capture Sima Ku and the others. Sima Lin ordered. Then my grandfather and the others aren't traitors? Sima Yu's voice came from behind the crowd. Everyone finally recalled the people who had been wrongly accused for over 100 years. Sima Qing smiled as he looked at Sima Lai, saying, of course not. In the past, we didn't know the truth. Furthermore, your great-grandfather suddenly became hungry and obtained the Raging Inferno / He even left his jade pendant at the scene. That's why everyone thought so. Lai, in the future, you all should return to the clan. Sima Lin said, in the past, the clan let you all down. Now that there are only a few of you left, the clan will compensate you all in the future. You all can go and settle the remaining matters. I want to go and meet the other elders of the clan. Sima Jun looked towards the back of the mountain. Looks like other than that old ancestor, there were many other elders in the mountain. Cluck cluck cluck, a chicken ran out of its cage and was taking a stroll in the courtyard. Seeing so many people, it ran out in fright. Sima Jun saw the courtyard full of animals and furrowed his eyebrows, saying, find someone to clean up these animals. Lai, you will come with me to meet them. As for the younger generation, they will temporarily stay in my courtyard. Everyone can go and do their own things. After speaking, he brought Sima Lai out. The older generation of the clan also left, leaving only Sima Yu and the others in the courtyard. Eldest brother, second brother, third brother, fourth brother. Sima Yu came beside Sima Yu Ming and the others. Because Sima Jun came out not long after they came out, the few brothers did not have time to properly talk. Yu, it's all thanks to you this time. Sima Yu patted her head and said happily. It's good that my brothers are fine. Sima Yu was very happy as well. She saw that the injuries on their bodies were completely healed. After this round of cleansing, they had gained quite a bit of strength. Her worries from before were completely swept away. At this time, Chongming came down from above and looked at her. Sima Yu took out a golden snake fruit, saying, although I shouldn't ask, do you want this because you were injured before? Chapter 232. This golden snake fruit was not something he had snatched from the Pu Luo mountain range. Rather, it was the fruit that the golden snake fruit tree had grown in his spirit pagoda. Chongming took the golden snake fruit and said, yes. I'll be back in a few days. With that, he flew into the sky and left the Sima family. Sima Yuran looked at Chongming's back and said, that direction is towards the sea, right? Fifth bro, do you know what he went to do? Sima Yulu asked curiously. I don't know either. He's not my contracted beast, so he didn't tell me anything about him. Sima Yue waved her hand. The young masters are finally free today. When we've settled down, why don't we drink till we're drunk? Fatty Chu came up and said. Thank you for taking care of fifth brother these past few years. Sima Yu Ming and the others cupped their hands. When grandfather returns, we will definitely have a few drinks with you. Sima Lai only came back when it was almost noon. He said to the few of them, I have decided to return to the main family. From now on, we will live here. Sima Yue and the rest were not surprised by this decision. It was within their expectations. Although he was dissatisfied with the clan, it was better for them to stay, especially since he had to consider Sima Yu Ming and the others. With such a family, they would be able to go further in the future. Since Sima Yue wanted to stay, Wei Ziqi and the rest decided to settle down here and stay in the inn until they found a house. Sima Yue wanted them to stay with the Sima family for a while, but she gave up on the idea as she was not familiar with the family. When it was late at night, Sima Yuqing and Sima Yuyang came to look for Sima Yuyu. They just happened to bump into them drinking and sat down together without any reservations. When he heard that Wei Ziqi and the others were planning to settle down in Anyang City, Sima Yuyang patted his chest and promised that he would take care of it. He would definitely find a suitable place for them to live in. The next day, he came to look for them, saying that he had found a courtyard. He also brought the news from last night's auction, saying that the Earth Dragon marrow was fought over by many people. The original starting price of 200,000 was raised to over 5 million. It's a good thing that we don't need it anymore. Otherwise, we would definitely have to fork out a huge sum of money. Sima Yuyang sighed. Found a house? Sima Yuyang asked. I found it. It's my friend's house. When he heard that I wanted a house, he transferred it to me. It's not a problem? Wei Ziqi asked. It's not a problem. 1 or 2 houses. If you don't like it you. Okay. Big brother and the others are busy returning to the family. I have nothing to do, so let's go take a look. They first went to Shenyuan Pavilion to pick up Little Two, and then took him to see the house. The house that Sima Yuyang found was not far from the Sima clan. It was close to the Sima clan's mountain range and was not very big. However, it was not a problem for tens of hundreds of people to stay in it. The courtyard was far from the city center. It was quiet and secluded, suitable for cultivation, was. Not bad. Wei Ziqi said. I like it. Fatty Chu said. Okay, let's do it here. Bei Gong Tang agreed. Then it's settled. Sima Yuyang said. I'll get some maids to clean it up for you. It's been a long time since anyone lived here. There's dust everywhere. Then we'll have to trouble you. Sima Yuyu said. We're a family now. There's no need to be so courteous. Sima Yuyang put his elbow on her shoulder. When we met in Linchuan City, I never thought that we would become a family. Once the house was settled, Wei Ziqi and the others' lives were settled as well. They had experienced many things in these 3 years. They did not have to think about going out for experience in the short term. They could cultivate properly. Everyone believed that in the future, everyone's cultivation would definitely rise rapidly. Those who wanted to recruit you will definitely come looking for you. If you have any ideas, you can find a power to rely on. Sima Yuyang said. We have no interest in joining those powers. What do we do if we don't want to? Fatty Chu asked. Why don't I go back and discuss it with my grandfather? We'll announce to the public that you've joined our Sima family. We won't give you anything and you don't have to do anything for us. Sima Yuyang said. This idea is not bad. Fatty Chu said. Thank you, brother Yuyang. Okay, then you and I will go back first. We'll come back when we're free. After that, Sima Yuyu and Sima Yuyang left. The others stayed behind. Not long after, a few maids came over and said that Sima Yuyang had already sent them over. They would be in charge of taking care of them in the future. Bei Gong Tang and the others did not want them at first. However, considering that Little Two needed to eat every day and the entire house needed someone to clean, they let them stay. Sima Yuyang and the others went to look for Sima Lin when they returned to the Sima family. He told them about Wei Ziqi and the others. Sima Lin readily agreed to Sima Yuyang's request. He got people to spread the news that Wei Ziqi and the others had already joined the Sima family. Once this news was released, those powers that wanted to recruit them were stunned. They were such good seedlings, but they were all taken in by the Sima family just like that. However, when they thought about their relationship with Sima Yuyu, they could only sigh. They sighed that the Sima family had gotten a huge bargain this time. Many thanks, clan leader. Sima Yu thanked him. You don't have to thank us. Releasing this kind of news is beneficial to us as well. Sima Lin said. This way, the other powers will not try to recruit them. Thinking about the various powers that were fighting openly and secretly, she understood. Yu, because of your grandfather's request, you have not been written into the family tree. However, you are still a member of our clan. Sima Lin said. Grandfather has already told me about this. It's fine as long as you treat grandfather and the others well. Sima Yu said. She did not have any opinion on whether or not she was written into the family tree. In any case, it was fine as long as she lived with Sima Lai and the others. We have let them down in the past. The clan will compensate them in the future. Sima Lin said. Many thanks, clan leader. Since they were going to live together in the future, she did not want to pursue what happened in the past. In any case, the people who had beaten Sima Lai and the others had already been killed. Sima Lin could also see Sima Yu's attitude and nodded satisfactorily, saying, since you are able to cure uncle, your medical skills should be very good. We have something that we need your help with. What is it? Sima Lin glanced at Sima Yang, saying, Yang, you can leave first. Sima Yang left obediently. Sima Lin went to a secret compartment and pressed it. A secret tunnel appeared in front of Sima Yu. Chapter 233. News of the turmoil in the Sima family spread. Sima Jun's injuries were healed and he told the truth. Sima Lai's family, who were originally thought to be sinners, were cleansed of their grievances and returned to the Sima family. That day, Sima Yu had made a ruckus outside the Sima family's door and even killed Sima Ku and Sima Yi in the Sima residence. Coupled with her identity, everyone was even more curious about her. They were all guessing how she came here from the Dongchen kingdom. At that moment, she and Sima Lin had walked into the secret passageway. As they walked, they did not know which part of the Sima residence they had arrived at. The two of them walked for half an hour before exiting the secret passage. They arrived at a valley and then entered a cave. We're here. Sima Lin stopped in front. Sima Yu followed behind him and entered the cave. She saw a person lying on the stone bed. His body was glowing as if he was being protected by something. Who is this? She did not know why Sima Lin had brought her here. This is the previous patriarch of the Sima family. Sima Lin said, he is also the eldest brother of our generation. Elderly head? Sima Yu looked at the person in surprise. It seemed like he didn't abdicate normally. 3 years ago, when I went to the Dongchen kingdom, I was not the patriarch. At that time, he was the patriarch. Sima Lin said, at that time, we brought your grandfather and Sima Kai back. On the way back, Sima Kai was unconscious because his magic pet had died. I don't know if it was because of the contract, but he died before we could even leave the Sophia mountain range. I was wondering why I didn't see that guy. Sima Yu said. Sima Lin glanced at him and continued, when we returned home, we found out that the patriarch had gone out. We didn't think much of it, but we never thought that he would be carried back by someone. The family tried everything but failed to cure him. They couldn't even stop his life force from fading away. In the end, they could only use the family's secret method to save his life. You want me to save him? Sima Yu asked. Sima Lin nodded his head and said, the clan's doctors all said that there was no way, but I thought that since you were able to cure little uncle so quickly, you might have a way to save him. I need to check it first. Sima Yu was not very confident. All right. Sima Yu walked over and examined the elderly head carefully. Her expression was solemn. All of this person's meridians were shattered, and all of his bones were broken. Almost half of his body had turned into slag. His internal organs had also suffered heavy injuries, and his vitality had completely disappeared. His injuries were more serious than Bai Yunchun's, but the most important thing was not just the injuries on his body. How was it? Sima Lin asked from the side. Sima Yu sighed, saying, no matter who it was, they would have died. Even you don't have a way? Sima Lin was still a little disappointed in his heart. It's not impossible. Sima Yu said, it's just that the probability of success is not high. Then there's hope. Sima Lin was overjoyed. Sima Yu shook her head and said, his body is completely crippled. It won't be easy for him to recover. But that's not the hardest part. What's that? His spirit is almost extinguished. In order to preserve his life, his spirit has entered a deep sleep. Sima Yu said, if his spirit is unable to awaken, then even if the injuries on his body are healed, it would be useless. How much confidence do you have? Sima Lin naturally knew how serious his injuries were, and knew that the chances of saving his life were not high. If not, he would not have used a secret technique to seal him here. Less than half. Sima Yu replied honestly, and the cost is huge. We will need many rare herbs. No matter what, we need to know who did this to our Sima family. To be able to injure our family head to this extent, it is not something an ordinary person can do. Sima Lin said solemnly, we will get the herbs we need. You just have to try your best to save him. All right. Sima Yu replied. After leaving the cave, Sima Yu and Sima Yu went back the way they came. When they reached home, she wrote down a list of herbs that she needed. The list was filled with names, and there were at least a few hundred to 1,000 of them. Other than those few main herbs, try your best to collect as many as you can. Sima Yu instructed. After 2 days, Sima Lin sent someone to call her over. Other than him, there was a group of elders waiting for her. Sima Yu greeted everyone. Seeing that their expressions were not good, she asked, what's wrong? Of the few main herbs that you gave, 3 of them are missing. Sima Lin said. None? Sima Yu was a little surprised. She had seen them in the medicine book before. If they were not there, how could they appear in the book? We have the rest, but we don't have the moon breath grass, sunset cloud flower and brown honey. The great elder by the side said. Sima Yu already knew that the group of people that she saw when she went to the Sima family were the elders of the Sima family. Most of them were elders of the same generation as Sima Lin. These 3 are rather rare. Sima Yu said, but it shouldn't be to the extent that they don't have them, right? Have you all gone to the Xian Yuan Pavilion and the Alchemist Guild? We did. Another elder said, but the Alchemist Guild also said that these 3 main herbs have not been seen for a long time. They don't have any in stock. Since they don't have any in stock, then go and look for them. Sima Yu said, the first 2 herbs are born together. With them, there will be brown bees. When the time comes, we'll just have to find the hive. We have the same plan. Sima Lin said, so we plan to go to the ocean soon. I called you here today to draw out the main herbs. Only the people we send will know how to find them. The brown bees are easier to identify. But the other 2 herbs are similar to other herbs and are not easy to identify. If you want to go, bring me along. I can identify them directly when the time comes. Sima Yu said. That place is too dangerous. Your sacred beast friend is not around. It's better for you to stay at home. Sima Lin did not agree, you can just draw out the appearance of the herbs. If you don't need me, I don't want to join in the fun. But if the 2 herbs are wrong, then it won't be a healing medicine, but a fatal poison. Sima Yu said. Since it's like this, then let her go. The great elder said, this time I will personally lead the team. If I bring more people, I should be able to guarantee her safety. Sima Yu saw their serious expressions and asked, isn't that ocean just an ocean? Is it that scary? Everyone present nodded and said, there are more types of living things in the ocean than on land. Furthermore, they are stronger. If you are not careful, you will be eaten by the fishes. That's scary? Sima Yu was curious. Of course. The great elder raised his hand, the danger level is not lower than Sophia mountain range. It might even be higher. It is also because of this that some herbs that only grow in the ocean rarely appear on land. Now that you mention it, I really want to go and take a look. Sima Yue touched her chin and said faintly. Chapter 234. The matter of going out to sea was settled just like that. The eldest elder would personally lead the team, leading a spirit paragon, 10 spirit saints, 50 spirit overlords, as well as Sima Yu and Sima Yulan. The time of departure was set to be 3 days later because they had to wait for Sima Yulan to come out of seclusion. Sima Yue understood. This Sima Yulan was able to sense the existence of the golden snake fruit at that time, so she must have some talent in this area. Bringing her along might be of help. No wonder I haven't seen her. She must have gone into seclusion after Bei Gong and the others saw her, Sima Yue thought to herself. After that, Sima Yue went to the courtyard and told Wei Ziqi and the others that she would be leaving for a period of time. She also told them that if anything happened, they could look for Sima Yuyang. He would help them. 3 days later, Sima Yulan came out of seclusion and the Sima family was ready to go. Sima Yue noticed that there was one more person in the team. Why is he going as well? She muttered softly when she saw Sima Yulin, who had just joined. Who would have thought that Sima Yulin would just happen to walk over? When he heard what she said, he actually stopped and said, "The gathering is about to begin. I'll go with you to gain experience." After saying that, he continued walking forward. He came to the first elder's side and said something to him. This guy is really good at hiding his aura. She felt a little apprehensive when she thought about how he only noticed her when he was so close to her. Sima Yulan walked over, saying, "Big brother Yulin has been training in concealing his aura since he was young. It's already ingrained in his bones." Sima Yue turned around and nodded at Sima Yulan. She didn't look any different from 3 years ago. Even her body didn't grow much. Compared to others, her growth rate was obviously slower. "Thank you for the medicine you gave me 3 years ago," Sima Yue said. "At that time, I merely saw that you were so seriously injured, yet so persevering. I was shocked by you, that's all." Sima Yulan's smile was very clean. 3 years had worn away some of her previous arrogance. "No matter what, I still have to thank you," Sima Yue said. "To tell you the truth, although I was shocked by you at that time, I didn't think that you would succeed. So when I sensed that I was about to break through, I chose to go into closed-door cultivation." Sima Yulan said, "I didn't think that by the time I came out, the clan would have changed so much. But I'm still happy that you're back." 3 years ago, the two of them didn't have much conflict. Now that they were a family, those squabbles could be ignored. "Fifth brother, I heard from Yu Yang that the sea region is quite dangerous. You have to take care of yourself. Don't rush to the front if anything happens. Do you understand?" Sima Yulu and the others came to send her off. They were afraid that she would rush forward, so they reminded her many times. Sima Yue agreed one by one and promised that she would not rush to the front. It was only when eldest elder said to move that she and Sima Yulan boarded a flying beast. Anyang City was in the northeast of central Wu country. It was not far from the coastline. Ordinary flying beasts could reach it in a few days. Anyang City and Anyang City were only one word apart, but the difference in size was like heaven and earth. This Anyang City was not even half as big as Anyang City. The population was also much smaller. Most of the people here made a living by fishing. At the pier of Anyang City, the Sima family's boat had already been prepared. It was 100 meters long and 10 meters high. It was said that it was a medium-sized boat for the Sima family. Once the group of people boarded, the boat slowly left the coast and headed towards the deep sea. This was not Sima Yoyue's first time on a boat. In her past life, she even secretly owned a small boat. She used her remuneration as an assassin to buy it with her other identity. But the feeling of sitting on a boat in her past life was different. The fish here are really big. Sima Yue leaned on the railing and sighed as she looked at the fish that were close to a meter long. These are still small. Sima Yulan stood on the deck with her and looked at the fish in the water, saying, these are all normal fish. The bodies of those sea clans are even bigger. Don't be surprised when you see a small mountain of fish. Sima Yue's eyes shone, saying, as big as a mountain? How is the meat of such a big fish? Is it delicious? 3 black lines appeared on the back of Sima Yulan's head. She looked at her rather speechlessly. Such a big sea clan would naturally be very strong. Not many people have eaten their meat before. Sima Yue touched her chin and thought that she would definitely find a chance to try it this time. The sea clan's spirit beasts use spiritual energy to cleanse their bodies. Needless to say, the meat is good. Sima Yulin walked over and said lightly. Sima Yue and Sima Yulan were surprised that Sima Yulin would come over to chat with them. Didn't he usually not talk about these things with them? Why did he come over now? Is it raining red? Sima Yue looked up. No. That's strange. Sima Yulin glared at Sima Yue. This guy really deserved a beating. He had been standing on the deck when Sima Yue was interested in the fish in the water. He did not plan to join in at first. However, when he saw Sima Yue's shining eyes, he unconsciously walked over and continued her sentence. Those sea clans are very strong. Even we cannot casually provoke them. He warned, even if you are interested in them, it's best not to act blindly without thinking. I'll do my best. Sima Yue nodded. It was her first time in the sea, so she naturally would not act blindly without thinking. After all, this was a place that even spirit paragons were afraid of. It was definitely dangerous. Yulin, every time I hear this name, I think of Yuling, Sima Yue muttered softly. However, her voice was not soft enough because the 2 people beside her heard it. Sima Yulan could not help but cover her mouth and laugh when she saw that Sima Yulin's face was no longer calm. Sima Yue was satisfied when she saw that he was no longer calm. Right, I'm going to identify medicinal ingredients. Yulin is using this as an opportunity to gain experience. Yulan, why are you going too? Didn't you say that it's dangerous here? Because Yulan has an innate ability to sense spirit treasures. Sima Yulin said. Innate ability to sense spirit treasures? Sima Yue's eyes widened as she looked Sima Yulan up and down with curiosity. It said that our ancestors had the bloodline of spirit beasts. However, no one paid much attention to it because no one has ever seen it before. Sima Yulin replied. Yulan's spirit beast bloodline has awakened? Sima Yue asked. Sima Yulan nodded. Sima Yue wanted to say something but suddenly felt a dangerous aura and turned to look at the sea. Sea clans are approaching. The voice of the great elder came from the highest room. Very quickly, the spirit paragons appeared on the deck. Sima Yue looked at the sea. It looked calm, but under the water, the dangerous aura was approaching. Roar dash, following a sharp cry, tens of fish appeared on the surface. Chapter 235. It's swordfish. So many swordfish. At the very least, they are saint beasts. The one at the front is a divine beast. When the people on the ship saw the school of swordfish, they began to discuss among themselves. However, they did not panic. It was obvious that this was not the first time they had encountered such a situation. Sima Yue was curious as she looked at the school of swordfish. She wondered how powerful the spiritual beasts in the water were. The front of the swordfish is very sharp. Don't let them get close to the boat. Sima Yulin ordered. When the swordfish approached the ship, they began to attack them. Pillars of water flew out from their mouths. The spirit grandmasters hurriedly channeled their spiritual energy to attack back. The pillars of water were scattered in mid-air and fell back into the sea. Sima Yue also joined the battle. She channeled her spiritual energy to attack the swordfish, especially the spikes that were aimed at them. Almost every attack was accurate. Many swordfish had their bones broken, and blood dyed the surface of the sea red. Those two divine beasts are approaching the ship. Someone shouted. Humph. The two spirit emperors snorted and flew into the air, attacking the two divine beasts. The two spirit beasts were only at level 1 or 2. Their battle prowess should be comparable to a level 3 or 4 spirit emperor. However, the two spirit emperors had already reached level 5. That was why they could fight against them. Sima Yu stood on the deck and watched their battle carefully. At first, she didn't know why the sea beasts were so much stronger than the spirit beasts on land. After that, she understood that it was because the sea water gave them some protection and weakened their attacks to a certain extent. She called Little Peng out and instructed, "Go and catch 2 swordfish for me." "Oh, it would be best if they were those 2 divine beasts." "Yes, Master." Little Rock responded, spreading his wings and grabbing at one of the swordfish. 4-winged rock. Seeing Little Rock, quite a few people recognized him. Divine beast. It really is a divine beast. This is young Master Yoyue's contracted beast. Isn't young Master Yoyue's contracted beast the mythical fox? She has 2 divine beasts. Even young Master Yulin only has 2 divine beasts. She actually has 2. Chirp chirp, Little Rock flew to the top of the swordfish and swooped down. His speed was extremely fast, and everyone only saw an afterimage flashing past their eyes. That divine beast swordfish was caught by him. Pfff, Little Rock's claws were as hard as steel. With a tug, the struggling swordfish was torn into 2 halves. It threw the swordfish onto the deck, and when it was about to catch another one, it found that it had already sunk to the bottom of the sea with its minions. "Master, I'm sorry. I only caught 1." Little Rock said guiltily. Sima Yue waved her hand and said, "It's okay, this one is enough." Sima Yulan walked over and saw that she was beside the swordfish, saying, "You really want to eat it?" "Of course." Sima Yue nodded her head seriously, saying, "Didn't Yulin just say that this sea beast is delicious? Moreover, the meat contains spiritual energy. Eating it can also replenish our strength." "Then what do you plan to do?" Sima Yulan asked. Sima Yue took out pots and pans, saying, "Take some to roast, take some to make fish soup, take some to boil. Boiled fish with pickled vegetables and steamed fish will do." Those who were with her saw how smoothly she spoke, and knew that she was definitely a foodie. Especially when they saw that she had so many things to cook, they were even more certain of their guess. Sima Yulan was also shocked by Sima Yue and the others. She touched this and touched that, asking, "You always have so many things to cook with you?" "Of course." Sima Yue quickly kept the fish, saying, "After you take my grandfather and the others away, we will go to Sophia Mountain Range in 2 to 3 months. We will be living there for 2 years, so we naturally have to prepare everything. But spirit masters don't need to eat." Sima Yulan said. "I'm used to it. I feel like I'm missing something if I don't eat for a day." Sima Yue shrugged. Sima Yulin looked at those pots and pans and realized that they were not ordinary household items. He asked, "Are these all spirit tools?" "That's right, they were all made by Fatty." Sima Yue said, "At that time, that guy had just started learning how to refine tools and was looking for something to practice with, so I got him to refine these for me. But I have to say, the food made by these spirit tools is much better than the ones made by normal tools." Everyone was speechless when they heard what she said. Using spirit tools to cook was probably something that only she could think of. And the only armament master who was willing to refine pots and pans was probably someone like Fatty. Who asked him to like eating? In the spirit pagoda, Little Roar insisted on coming out because he knew that Sima Yue was cooking outside. Yu had not cooked for everyone for a long time. Seeing Little Roar, Sima Yulan thought of the time in Dongqin Kingdom when he roared a few times and killed the 6-toed devil mouse. She was still a little afraid. However, she was not afraid very quickly because she realized that Little Roar was someone who did not know how to behave properly. Yu, hurry up, I'm starving to death. He lay on Sima Yoyue's shoulder and stared straight at the swordfish in her hand. Sima Yulan looked at Little Roar in amusement. At his level, he would not feel hungry at all. He actually said that he was starving to death, how funny. Sima Yulin looked at Little Roar and realized that he could not see his original form. He only felt that he was very strong, but also did not seem to have any attack power. Yu, what kind of contracted beast is this? If he did not understand, he would ask. He had always adhered to this principle. Little Roar? Sima Yuyue glanced at Little Roar, who was about to drool, and said, "It's just a lazy worm beast that only knows how to eat and not cook." She did not trust him wholeheartedly, so she naturally would not tell him about Little Roar's original form. Even if Sima Yulan had seen it before, she did not know what it was. Very quickly, she finished preparing the swordfish. A portion was used to make fish soup, a portion was steamed, a portion was braised and a portion was roasted. Very quickly, a table full of delicacies was served. She called Sima Yulan and Sima Yuyue over to eat. She did not care about those guards, she did not have the energy to cook for tens of people. Furthermore, those people had all returned to their own houses after the boat had sailed normally. It tastes so good. She drank a mouthful of fish soup and realized that the taste of this sea beast was really delicious. She could not help but close her eyes and enjoy it. Sima Yulin also took a bite. His movements were very elegant, as if eating was a very noble thing. It was a huge contrast to Sima Yuyue, who was wolfing down the food. Delicious. Although he did not have any requirements for food, he was still attracted by the delicious food in his mouth. You're so particular when eating. I really want to see what you look like when you go berserk. Sima Yuyue could not help but complain softly when she saw how noble he looked. Sima Yulan, on the other hand, did not have such good table manners. Together with Sima Yuyue and Little Roar, they swept the food clean. However, in the end, Sima Yuyue realized that although Sima Yulin looked like he was eating very elegantly, his speed was not slow at all. In the end, the amount of shark fins he had was not less than theirs. Chapter 236. In the later part of the journey, they met a few more sea beasts. As they went deeper into the ocean, the sea beasts were of higher ranks. When they were about to reach their destination, another elder took action. The one who gained the most was still Sima Yuyue. Most people would kill the sea beasts at most and watch their bodies sink to the bottom of the sea. She, on the other hand, would get Little Rock to catch many sea beasts for her to eat in the future. Of course, Sima Yulin and the others ate many delicacies as well. We'll reach in half a day. Sima Yulan said to Sima Yuyue while eating barbecued meat. Sima Yuyue was happy. They had already traveled for half a month. Every day, they looked at the vast ocean. It was boundless. After a long time, the novelty had faded. Which island are we going to? Forgotten Worry Island. Sima Yulan said, that's the biggest island that we can reach. There are many precious herbs on it, but it's also very dangerous. There are many divine beasts. Are there moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower? Sima Yuyue asked. This was the most important thing. They didn't want to waste their time. Sima Yulan nodded, saying, the people from the Xian Yuan Pavilion said that someone once picked the moon breath grass from Forgotten Worry Island. That's good. Half a day later, they reached their destination and came to Forgotten Worry Island. Sima Yuyue stood on the island with her mouth agape. She said blankly, this island can be considered a small continent. Eldest Elder stood beside her, saying, this island is not big compared to the entire ocean. There are even bigger islands inside. How big is this ocean? Sima Yuyue sighed. Nobody knows. Eldest Elder said, no one has ever walked the entire ocean. It's not just because it's dangerous, it's because there's not enough time. Sima Yuyue was stunned. There wasn't enough time. How big of a sea was this? It's so big. It's easier said than done to find the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower. A guard sighed. Sima Yuyue was also thinking about the same thing. Don't worry, we found the person who obtained the moon breath grass. He drew a rough map for us, roughly marking the place where he picked the moon breath grass. The great elder said, furthermore, Yulan has also smelled the box that contained the moon breath grass. If she encounters it, she will definitely be able to find its location. Cough, cough. When Sima Yuyue heard the great elder's words, she suddenly thought of something that she should not have thought of. She wanted to laugh but was too embarrassed to do so. She could only hold it in. Sima Yulan slapped her and glared at her angrily, looking angry. I didn't say anything, did I? Sima Yuyue could not help but laugh. You're still laughing. Sima Yulan immediately pounced on Sima Yu and the latter immediately ran away. Sima Yulin watched them play around and suddenly said, there's someone here. Sima Yuyue and Sima Yulan stopped. Everyone looked at Sima Yulin and asked, there's someone here? Sima Yulin walked towards a large rock. Sima Yuyue and Sima Yulan went over as well. They saw that behind the rock, there was a pile of firewood and a few pieces of clothing. The bloodstains on it were from 2 to 3 days ago. There really is someone here. I wonder who it is. Sima Yulan said. Looks like it's just one person. I wonder who is so daring to live on this island alone. Sima Yulin said. Who knows, we might even meet him. Sima Yuyue said. Who knows? Sima Yulan said, when the time comes, I definitely want to see who dares to live here alone. Let's go. The great elder has made arrangements. Sima Yuyue and the others went back and told the great elder what they saw. The great elder was silent for a moment before saying, maybe there's someone trapped on this island. If we meet him, let's see if he needs to leave with us. Yes. It's still early today. Let's walk inside. The great elder said. Leaving behind 10 guards to guard the boat, the rest of the people went to the island. At first, it was very peaceful. Perhaps it was because they were still outside the island and did not meet many amphibious sea beasts. However, everyone did not let down their guard. Let's set up camp here for tonight. The great elder said. This was a hollow in the mountains and the terrain was rather spacious. It was enough for them to set up camp. The guards set up the tents. Even Sima Yulin and Sima Yulan did it themselves. They did not have the arrogance of the other young masters. Night fell very quickly. A group of people sat in front of the fire and chatted to pass the time. A wolf's howl came from afar. Everyone stood up in shock. There's actually a wolf here? A guard asked. It's not a wolf. It's a human's voice. Sima Yuyue said. It really is a human's voice. The guard heard it and realized that the wolf's howl was not professional. It sounded more like a human's howl. Should we go and take a look? Someone said. Young Master Yulin, take a few people with you to take a look. The great elder said. Okay. Sima Yulin nodded. He called a few people and left. Sima Yuyue was in the crowd. She looked at Sima Yulin unhappily, saying, I'm so weak, why did you call me along? Sima Yulin turned around and looked at her, saying, I will protect you. Sima Yuyue was stunned. This guy actually said that he would protect her? It seemed that apart from her grandfather, a few brothers and Wei Ziqi, no one else had said that they would protect her. Seeing Sima Yuyue's stunned expression, Sima Yulin merely turned around and smiled. He realized that he could not use force on this guy. The more he wanted to suppress him, the more he would resist. If he wanted to get along well, he could only use this method. However, looking at his reaction, it was really effective. When they came to the mountain, they saw that in another hollow in the mountain, a human figure was being chased by a group of amphibious sea beasts. He was running crazily towards this mountain. Why doesn't he fly up and shake off those spirit beasts? Sima Yuyue did not understand. This island has a restriction. We can't fly. Sima Yulin replied. Seeing the human figure getting closer, he cried out in shock, "It's him." Sima Yuyue looked at the human figure who was already injured and said, "You know him?" Sima Yulin nodded. It was obvious that he did not have a good impression of this person. When the other party saw that there were people on the mountain, he changed his direction and ran towards them. When he saw Sima Yulin clearly, he laughed loudly, "The heavens are helping me. Brother Yulin, save me." Sima Yuyue looked at the person who could still laugh in this situation. Her first impression was that this guy was a little careless and unreliable. Although Sima Yulin did not like this person, he still said to the guards beside him, "You guys go and deal with those spirit beasts." The guards rushed down and fought with the spirit beasts. That person happily escaped from the pursuit. "Who is he?" Sima Yuyue asked again. "Xian Yuan Pavilion's young master, Jun Lin." Sima Yulin replied. Chapter 237. The young master of the Xianyuan Pavilion? Why is he here alone? Sima Yuyue asked as she looked at the person who was running away. This guy runs around all day. Even the people from the Xianyuan Pavilion don't know where he is. He hasn't appeared for a long time. I didn't think that he would actually be here. Sima Yulin said. Jun Lin howled as he ran towards Sima Yulin. He only stopped when he was in front of them and wrapped his arms around his neck, saying, "Brother Yulin, we actually ran into you here. We're really fated. You must have come by boat. Take me with you when you go back. I've already stayed in this godforsaken place for half a year. If I don't go back, I'll become a barbarian." PFFF, Sima Yu looked at the overly enthusiastic Jun Lin, then looked at the unsettled Sima Yulin and laughed. Jun Lin looked at Sima Yuyue and realized that she was not from the Sima family. He asked, Brother, are you from the Sima family? I've never seen him before. I just returned to the Sima family, Sima Yuyue replied. So that's how it is. No wonder I've never seen you before. Why are you with this black fox? Be careful not to be led astray by him. Jun Lin said. Sima Yuyue now knew why Sima Yulin did not like him. No one would be happy to be called a black-hearted fox. Little brother, what's your name? What are you guys doing here? Jun Lin walked over to Sima Yuyue and put his arm around her shoulders as if they were close friends. Sima Yuyue slapped his hand away and said, My name is Sima Yuyue. Aren't you the young master of the Xianyuan Pavilion? Why are you here alone? The smile on Jun Lin's face fell when he was asked this question. I made a bet with them and lost. The bet was that I would live here alone for 3 months. In the end, my ship was knocked over by a sea beast, and I didn't have any flying spirit beasts, so I could only wait here to see if there was anyone passing by who would let me hitch a ride. It's been 3 months, and I've finally seen him. You've been living here alone for half a year? Sima Yuyue looked at him in surprise. Didn't they say it was dangerous here? He lived alone for half a year. Just how strong was he? Sima Yulin seemed to know what she was thinking and said, It's not that he's strong, it's that he's good at escaping. First-class escaping skills? Sima Yuyue looked at Lord Descendant. Just now, she had seen him run really fast. I don't know how many powers he has harmed. He was chased down before, but he wasn't caught. Sima Yulin said. Really? Sima Yuyue asked. Jun Lin was not ashamed, but rather proud. He patted his chest and said proudly, That's right. Back then, they sent a few spirit paragons and a bunch of spirit emperors to chase after me, but I managed to shake them off. So powerful. Of course. Jun Lin hugged Sima Yuyue's shoulder again, saying, If you follow me in the future, I guarantee that you'll have that kind of speed. Even the young pavilion master of the Xianyuan Pavilion wanted to chase and beat him up. What exactly did you do to him? Sima Yuyue said, If I follow you, I'm afraid that I'll have to run for my life in 2 days. Sima Yulin saw that Sima Yuyue was interested in Junlin at first, and was worried that she would be tricked by him. Hearing what she said, he finally relaxed. Seeing that the guards had already taken care of the sea beasts, he said, "Let's go back. The Great Elder is still waiting for us." "Okay. The Great Elder is here as well?" "Huh, then we're safe. I also want to follow you." Junlin very consciously followed them back. When they returned, the Great Elder was surprised to see Junlin. After hearing what happened to him, he said, "Then you can follow us first. When we return, we'll bring you along." "Many thanks to the Great Elder." Junlin beamed as he bowed. Sima Yuyue came beside Sima Yulan and asked, "I feel like Yulin doesn't like this young pavilion master. Do you know why?" Sima Yulan covered her mouth and laughed. She went beside Sima Yoyue's ear and said, "The first time they met, Junlin was drunk and thought that big brother Yulin was a girl and took liberties with him." Sima Yuyue was drinking fruit wine when she heard what Sima Yuyue said. She spat out all the wine. "You're saying that Yulin was taken liberties with by Junlin?" She stared at Sima Yulan with wide eyes. "That's right." Sima Yulan nodded and beamed. "You don't know, but big brother Yulin's face immediately darkened and he gave Junlin a good beating. From then on, he didn't look happy when he saw him." Sima Yuyue touched her chin. She could imagine the scene at that time. A man who usually looked so noble and elegant was actually taken liberties with as a girl. It was a pity that she didn't see it with her own eyes. "Right, do you know what kind of background the Xianyuan Pavilion has?" Sima Yuyue said, "I think it's even more powerful than those first-ranked powers." "Of course." Sima Yulan didn't hold anything back from Sima Yuyue and told her everything she knew. "I heard that the Xianyuan Pavilion doesn't have a power from the Yilin continent behind them. That's why even the royal family is afraid of them. For a family like ours, we naturally know a little." "So that's the case." Sima Yuyue nodded. "Don't you have the Xianyuan Pavilion's blue card? Don't tell me you don't know what kind of organization it is?" Sima Yulan asked. Sima Yuyue smiled, saying, "At that time, I had just left the Dongchen kingdom and didn't know much about the powers there. How would I know what kind of organization it was? I just thought it was a chain store. Later on, I heard from others that first-ranked powers only had red cards. That's when I realized that they were different." "How did you get your blue card?" Sima Yulan asked curiously. "I just took some pills for them to auction and sold a pill recipe to them. They just gave it to me." Sima Yuyue said. "Just like that?" Sima Yulan looked at her in disbelief. "She got the Xianyuan Pavilion's blue card so easily? Those pills of yours shouldn't be simple." Junlin heard Sima Yulan's exclamation and came over, saying, "Most people definitely can't get our card just by selling a pill recipe." "It's all right." Sima Yuyue didn't say what kind of pill it was, but she felt like she couldn't hide it from Junlin. He would know once he went back and asked. "Rest well tonight. Tomorrow, we will go deep into the island to look for the moon breath grass." Eldest Elder returned to his tent after speaking. "I'm going to rest. Good night." Sima Yuyue got up and left as well. Sima Yulin arranged for someone to keep watch and returned to his tent as well. Junlin touched his chin and his eyes flashed. He bought a pill recipe and got a blue card. I really want to know what he sold it for. However, I'll find out when I go back. This guy isn't simple. Chapter 238. Early the next morning, the group of people packed up. The Great Elder divided the people into 3 groups and told them to search separately. Before she left, Sima Yuyue drew the moon breath grass and sunset Sirius flower. She also told them about the characteristics of the brown bees and told them to send someone to report if they found any traces of them. The 3 teams went their separate ways. Sima Yuyue, Sima Yulan and Sima Yulin naturally followed the eldest elder. Junlin joined them as well, and there were 4 or 5 other guards following them. They had not gone far when they heard rustling sounds. There's movement. The great elder stopped and looked ahead. Young master, can you handle it alone? Sima Yulin closed his eyes and sensed for a moment before nodding, saying, yes. As a result, the others stood where they were without moving. Sima Yulin went forward alone, condensing his spirit energy and sending it forward. A white light flashed in the grass that was as tall as a person. Giant green alligators. The guard exclaimed when he saw the spirit beasts. There are so many of them. Sima Yue glanced at the crocodiles. Their levels were not very high. Although there were many of them, they were not too dangerous. Sima Yulin single-handedly dealt with 10 over crocodiles. His silhouette darted through the group of crocodiles, his speed extremely fast. The sword in his hand was incomparably sharp, reaping the lives of the crocodiles. Good luck, young master. The guard cried out excitedly when he saw Sima Yulin's battle prowess. It was Sima Yu's first time seeing Sima Yulin in action. His attacks were quick and accurate. Not a single move missed. It was 100% accurate. With such a strong combat power, it seems that he pays a lot of attention to actual combat and is not as spoiled as the other young masters and young ladies. Very quickly, Sima Yulin finished off all the crocodiles without suffering a single injury. Not bad. The great elder nodded approvingly. With your current strength, it won't be a problem for you to meet the younger generation of the other families. Yulin walked over and put away the sword in his hand, saying, I don't think so. I'm getting stronger and they're improving as well. Especially Nalan Jia. He always gives me a mysterious feeling. Nalan Jia has indeed obtained a lot of opportunities, and the people outside have not known about his current strength for a long time. What is his current level? The various clans are all curious. The great elder said. I feel that in this gathering, he will be my greatest enemy. Yulin said with certainty. That's why I have to continue moving forward so that I won't be left behind by him. What event? Sima Yue asked. Junlin looked at Sima Yue and said, you don't know about the gathering? Sima Yue shook her head and said, I've just arrived here, and I've never heard of any grand event. What kind of event is that? It's a competition between the various major forces. The position of the force will be determined based on the results of the competition. Yulan explained, if a first-rate force is defeated, then it may become a second-rate force. Moreover, the lower-tier forces can challenge the higher-tier forces. If they win, they can also raise their status. I understand. It's called a gathering, but it's actually a ranking competition between the major forces. Sima Yue said, that Nalan Jia does seem to have a bit of strength. That's for sure. A year ago, it was rumored that he was already a 4th-rank spirit elder. Now that a year has passed, his strength must have grown even faster. Junlin said, if we wait another 2 years, he might even reach the spirit emperor rank. Big brother Yulin is very powerful too. Sima Yulan said, I believe that big brother Yulin will definitely defeat that Nalan Jia. That beautiful brother of yours is indeed powerful. Junlin said, just now, he didn't show his rank, and it looked like he didn't use all his strength. I actually couldn't tell his rank, how strange. Sima Yue looked at him strangely, but didn't say anything. They kept the alligator's corpse and continued to walk deeper. The 3 teams searched for an entire day, but they didn't find the moon breath grass and sunset cloud flower. However, they weren't discouraged. How could these things be found so easily? At night, Sima Yue cultivated her soul art alone at the top of the mountain, while the rest of the team rested at the bottom of the mountain. Suddenly, she opened her eyes, saying, Big brother Yulin, why are you hiding behind the tree? Sima Yulin came out from behind the tree, saying, I saw you come out alone, so I was afraid that you might be in danger. Senior elder and the others are just below. There won't be any danger. Sima Yue turned around and said. Sima Yulin walked over and looked at the moon in the sky, saying, your senses are very strong. You actually knew where I was. So. Sima Yuyue said, "You're very good at hiding your aura. If you didn't meet me, most people wouldn't be able to find you. Are you praising me or praising yourself?" Sima Yulin sat beside her and said with a smile, "Both." Sima Yuyue looked at him from the side and said, "This guy is really good looking. No wonder Jun Lin took him for a girl and teased him. Admiring the moon with a handsome guy, it would be a pity if there was no wine." She took out 2 jugs of wine and handed one to Sima Yulin. The two of them clinked their jugs and drank a mouthful. "Do you know, I've always been curious about you." Sima Yulin held the jug of wine and looked at Sima Yuyue. "Curious about me?" Sima Yuyue was puzzled. "I've known about you since 3 years ago." Sima Yulin said, "When Yulan came back, she told me about what happened that day. She said that she was shocked by you. Your strong desire to protect your family made her unable to calm down for a long time. I heard her say that you came with your grandfather and the others that day and fought with my grandfather. At that time, I felt that if it was your family, they would definitely be very happy." Sima Yuyue did not reply and only listened to him quietly. "Actually, the golden snake fruit was in your hands at that time, right?" Sima Yulin looked like he was asking her, but his tone was very certain. "Why do you think so?" Sima Yuyue raised her eyebrows. "At that time, you said that you would find the golden snake fruit earlier within 3 years. Unless it was with you, how could you be so confident that you would find it?" Sima Yulin explained. Sima Yuyue smiled and did not deny it. At the same time, she was shocked at his intelligence. "You want to protect your grandfather and the others, but I also want to protect the Sima family." After a long while, Sima Yulin continued, "If we fail this time, it won't be as simple as falling from a first-rate power to a second-rate power. We may be killed by the other powers. I don't know about the things between you big powers." Sima Yuyue said, "I'm not interested in these things. Even if you tell me, I won't understand the twists and turns." Sima Yulin laughed, saying, "I can tell that you're not interested in these things. Then why are you telling me this?" Sima Yuyue did not understand. Sima Yulin looked at her and said seriously, "I want to ask you to help me." Chapter 239. When she heard what Sima Yulin said, Sima Yuyue was stunned. She smiled and said, "You're so powerful, and you have the Sima family as your backing. How could I help you?" Sima Yulin shook his head, saying, "My intuition tells me that you can help me." "Are you sure?" Sima Yuyue asked. "My intuition has always been accurate. It has saved me many times." Sima Yulin said. "How do you want me to help you?" Sima Yuyue asked. "I know that you're good at controlling your aura, and you're even better than me. I want you to teach me." Sima Yulin directly expressed his thoughts. "Just this?" Sima Yuyue looked at Sima Yulin. He had come to look for her just for this? She had thought that he had penetrated her other secrets. "This is it." Sima Yulin said, "If my chi concealment technique can be improved, my battle prowess will increase by a notch. Are you willing to guide me? I can't say that I'm giving you pointers, but I can tell you about my method." Sima Yuyue said. "Thank you. Don't thank me yet. I don't know if it will work." That night, the two of them stayed at the top of the mountain, discussing the method of restraining chi under the moonlight. As the two of them conversed, Sima Yuyue realized that her main method was to restrain her aura, which was to merge her body with her surroundings. Sima Yulin's main method was to restrain his aura, which was to restrain his aura into his body. The two of them were completely different. Even if this was the case, Sima Yulin still managed to find a suitable method for himself from Sima Yuyue's method, and perfected his own method of concealing aura. As the sun rose from the east, Sima Yuyue quietly watched the sun rise from the mountaintop. She felt the warmth on her body and experienced the feeling of the earth recovering. Gradually, she became one with nature. Sima Yulin was immersed in his own cultivation when he suddenly realized that he could no longer sense Sima Yuyue's aura. He was so shocked that he turned his head around. Seeing that she was standing right beside him, he heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, he was also shocked and thought to himself, she's clearly right beside me, but I can't sense her presence at all. Her chi concealment technique is indeed more powerful than mine. He felt that Yue had become one with the heaven and earth. He spread out his aura endlessly, as if he was sensing something. Therefore, he did not disturb her. Instead, he began to think of his own method. She blends her aura into the environment, so I'll retract my aura into my body and turn myself into dust in the air. He closed his eyes, and slowly, his aura disappeared, as if he had become a speck of dust in the air. At this moment, his aura was clearly weaker than before. If he appeared in front of others like this, they would definitely be able to kill him. The Sima family did not disturb them. Instead, they searched for the moon breath grass with the mountain as the center. When it was close to noon, Sima Yue finally woke up from her meditation. She was just about to speak to Sima Yulin when she realized that he was not by her side. Boom! Not far away, Sima Yulin was currently battling with a python. This python had already reached the rank of a divine beast, and its battle prowess was equivalent to a beginner spirit saint. She saw that the bushes near where she had been sitting had all been flattened. It was likely that the python had approached them before, and Sima Yulin did not want it to interrupt her meditation, so he led the python away. Sima Yulin was not the python's opponent, but he did not call out his own spirit beasts. Instead, he continued to challenge his own limits. Sima Yue stood at the top of the mountain, but did not go up to help. She knew that he did not need her help. After a bitter battle, Sima Yulin finally killed the python. However, he had also suffered heavy injuries. He could not even stand, and had to stab his sword into the ground to support his body. Sima Yue walked over and took out an antidote pill, handing it to him. Your medicine is useless against the python's poison. Sima Yulin took the pill and ate it. After that, he sat down and began to meditate. Sima Yue walked over and dealt with the python. After cleaning it up, she took out a pot to cook snake soup. Sima Yulin waited for the poison in his body to be completely cleansed before opening his eyes to see Sima Yue stirring the soup in the pot with a spoon to prevent it from sticking. You really can eat anything. He walked over and saw that Sima Yue had already set up a table and chairs. These spirit beasts are all good stuff, Sima Yue said. Then, she glanced at Sima Yulin, saying, You're pretty strong. You defeated a first-ranked spirit beast on your own. However, you also wasted a lot of energy and complicated the battle. In the end, you got yourself poisoned and injured. Sima Yulin's body trembled as he looked at her, asking, How did I complicate it? Sima Yue did not hold back and said as she cooked the soup, You and the python were in a battle of life and death. It was not a friendly competition, so there was nothing to worry about. That's why your best method was not to kill it with your own strength, but to find the best way to kill it. I also attacked where it was fatal, Sima Yulin said. Sima Yue shook her head, saying, Although you also attacked its 7 inches, it was obvious that its 7 inches had become bigger, so that place also became bigger. You went in the right direction, but you didn't find the right spot. Spot? Sima Yulin looked at Sima Yue thoughtfully and suddenly understood, saying, What you mean is that I have to find the right spot, and not find the right direction to attack, right? Sima Yue did not refute and continued, Also, when you're not strong enough, it's not wise to stand in front of it. When you were fighting with the python, if you could run behind it in advance, you wouldn't have been poisoned by its poison. When you're not strong enough, the best way is to attack from behind. Sneak attacks are better. When Sima Yulin heard Sima Yue's analysis, he immediately understood where his weakness was in the battle just now. A powerful battle was not only about strength, but also the method. Sima Yue did not say anything else. She knew that Sima Yulin was a smart person and would understand what she meant. She finished cooking the soup and scooped out 2 bowls. The rest was shared by Little Roar. Eat. She placed the snake soup in front of him while he was still thinking. They had not finished the snake soup when a signal flare exploded in the sky. "There's danger over there." Sima Yulin recognized it as a signal for help and stood up immediately. Sima Yuyue kept the things away and called Little Rock out, saying, "Bring us over." This island had a restriction and could not be controlled to fly. However, flying beasts could fly with their wings. Little Rock raised his head to the sky and cried out, bringing the two of them to fly in the direction of the signal flare. On the way, they saw the eldest elder and the others. Sima Yuyue got Little Rock to pick them up and they continued to fly. From afar, they heard the roars of spirit beasts. There were many of them. It was obvious that the Sima family had encountered more than one or two types of spirit beasts. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.